Oh, okay. We're live.
Live? Oh
Are
yeah.
you live?
I am 1.5 or 1.25.
We'll start at 1.25 and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
Let me grab another drink and then we'll be set.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I didn't do the thing I said I was gonna do. Okay, so after they talk to each other, I think they're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Refresh. I need this. Hmm. Live now. That's what it says. Well, I believe it. Okay, cool. Let me get my drink and
You
then
get
we'll
your
begin.
drink. It does say that you're live. I'm gonna grab a drink too. I'm back.
Very funny.
Back.
He's back. Did you post everywhere?
I posted in. I didn't post in the UVS specific creator channels,
That's fine.
but I did post in the Riftbound and then the UVS Games one, and then on a Facebook page.
Okay, cool. Then we're good.
I didn't post on Reddit because they ask you to make other conversation besides just that post, and I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just.
So eventually your post will go live. Like it will go up. It just won't go up right when you do it.
On the Reddit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, they were just like, hey, we don't want content creators just to spam self promotion stuff rather than
Yes.
everything else, you know. Yeah. So.
All right, man. I'm ready.
Hi.
I have licked my lips.
I have to record button.
I have. Yeah. That was a weird one to start with. Sorry, bud.
I've clicked the record button. Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Tam and Barrett cast this time the Beijing Riftbound event. Last time we got together and we did this, we casted day 1 of the event, and this time we're gonna try top cuts and see which one we like or feel better. I think our plan is to do. This is
7.
Yeah, round 7. So
Sorry.
64 to 32.
2, 3.
What?
No, sorry. It's 7 matches if we start at 64.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I'm saying
you
because we started
don't
later,
want to do that.
we can jump ahead to like just do top 16 because they also give you both semifinals. I think. No, they don't.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we can jump to 16 and then move our way up.
Okay.
It's gonna very
Let's
much
do it.
be like, obviously less diversity because.
Yeah. Because Kais is pretty good.
This guy's is pretty good.
I'll play that character for the first time Tuesday, and I felt it. It felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But with that, we'll go ahead and we'll pop over to the scene, question mark? I think this is... Wait, is this where we're supposed to be? Is this where we're supposed to be? I think this is where we're supposed to be. I might have to move us a little bit. But it looks like we've got Victor versus... I couldn't see who the other character was. Oh,
It's the same Victor we saw that one time. No, I watched... Oh, never mind. Hold on. Spoilies. I've seen this match. I was like, why have I seen this before? And I went, oh, I've watched this one.
That's funny. Yeah, I think... I mean, this is... I think I've actually got a really sick spot to put us whenever they get the spots out. But we've got Victor versus Master Yi. Who do you think's favored here?
I think it just really depends, right? Every time I feel like I watch a Victor matchup or I watch Victor try and encroach into the top cut environment, it is very much dependent on the pieces that the Victor player has chosen to put into their deck, because they do have powerful pieces that can include like board wipes, of course, unmatched power. You can also include things that like do single target damage in a large amount, such as things like Singularity. But when we see most Victor decks, it's sometimes just about getting as many creatures or units on the board as quickly as possible, which means you are sacrificing deck space for the removal, which removal is pretty much the name of the game on how you deal with Master Yi, which is why it's so good against Kaisa, because it has just enough might on their units to survive against the removal that Kaisa's doing. So we'll have to see, genuinely. I've got to say Master Yi is probably favored here, just because, I don't know if you knew this, Tam, Victor is currently the lowest conversion rate character for these top cut events after these 2 events that we've had in a row.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it went from being one of the most represented characters of the first regional to the 3rd most represented character of this regional, and I believe the conversion rate when I made my YouTube video for this regional, Tam, was 4% of Victor players made it a top 64.
Wow.
It's rough.
That's not very much.
Victor Nation is struggling, that's for sure.
Yeah. So having played, this is not the classic Victor that we play with, right? Isn't this the other one, the blue one, rather than the yellow one?
The Altars.
Or am I crazy?
I've got to look at the Altars.
I know this is, I know this is the Altar, but I thought that normally you start with the yellow Victor rather than the blue Victor that I'm pretty sure this guy is.
Yeah, the yellow one for sure is after another unit dies, you make a recruit.
This is if you play a spell on your rival's turn, you make a recruit.
Yeah, after you play any card on a rival's turn, you
Oh, that's
play a
pretty good.
recruit. But I mean, I think the big key point here is that this is still a 4 might, 1 power, or sorry, 4 energy, 1 power unit, but it's only for 3 might,
Hmm.
which makes it a lot
Okay.
easier and susceptible to, oh, I don't know, high might units like Master Yi has. So we'll have to see how it
Yeah.
goes, because you're going to need a lot of recruits. And, I said I do think it's probably going to be Master Yi favored, but honestly, Tam, like, if you get enough recruits on the board and you play something, like, oh, I don't know, give all of your units +5 might, you really can
Yeah.
overpower the Master Yi units, because, spoiler alert, they typically only have 1 unit on a battlefield to get that legend ability live.
Yeah. Man, I really like this adjustment into in like I'm really excited to watch this game because like already like we like if we would have saved this stupefy for like when we had our guy out, we just like went crazy +1, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. For a 1 energy spell that you would have gotten the thing off of it. Yeah, 100%. I think maybe that's what we're going to see be the benefit of this deck, playing the Mind Domain Champion unit. But we'll have to see the success of it, because at least at its current pace, Master Yi, at least when we were exchanging score, we're now at 2-2 each player, right? Because we're kind of taking battlefields and then losing them back and forth. We are very much now behind, because the Master Yi player is getting stronger units at a faster pace, faster than the Victor player is accumulating a bunch of mini units.
yeah, but it's still very early in the game. Victor having gone first in the matchup, I appears, right? We got six
Yeah, I
and
believe we did.
two,
Yeah.
7. Or do we have to recycle back something? I must have missed it.
I don't know. I
Um,
lost your feed. It's not working for me anymore. It froze.
my
Oh,
feed
never mind. We're good.
froze. Okay, we're good.
I'm back.
All right, all right, we're
Yeah.
back.
So we're gonna pay
Uh,
5. I'll be honest. Don't know what that card is.
oh, I gotta remember. I gotta remember.
I
I
think
forgot I have to
it's.
go pull up cards.
I have them up. I'm scrolling. It just takes me a minute. I think this one's from. I thought it was from the Proving Grounds, but it's not. It is another kind of like, I'm gonna deal some damage, single target removal. I promise I'll find it.
Falling Comet. Pay 6 to one guy. It's 5-drop, no recycle.
Yeah, so
Just action your turn or showdown. Just snipe something for 6.
yeah, Sideways Singularity. I like Singularity a lot because it pings 2 things for 6. This one only pings 1, of course, but the cool thing about Singularity is that it doesn't have to be at a battlefield. It can also be at a base, whereas Falling Comet must be at a battlefield. But not having that recycle cost could go a long way here, right? As we get the removal off, and we had 2 units, so we very easily score twice here because Master Yi hadn't put any units on the other battlefield.
Yeah, man, this is like not a good spot for us. I
Us?
think this is fine.
Oh,
We're
you're
fine.
moving us
We're fine.
around.
I'm trying to put us on the screen.
Another Shield
But I
Poro
think it'll be okay.
gonna come down, and we are also going to give it a buff. I don't know how we did that, but
The arena fighter. After you play me buff another unit.
oh, we did play a new one. Okay, I missed it. I guess we
Yeah.
already had the Poro. Yeah, the Poro's ready. We're gonna swing in now, get that Raven Bloom off the board, as it's just gonna die, scoring up to 3, and now we just have to figure out to maybe get Victor off of the other battlefield here, as we are gonna pay.
Pit rookie.
Pit Rookie. With the first mate coming in here for 3 is going to be able to ready up that Pit Rookie that we played immediately and go straight to that battlefield. And once again now, as we go up to 4 score ourselves, we now have 1 unit at each battlefield. And now Victor is just sitting at a Soaring Scout, which is not nearly big enough to combat against the Legend ability as well as these little buffed mini guys. And like, this is kind of what I'm talking about, Tam, is like, you're just always on the back foot, at least at the beginning of the game as the Victor player. If you don't have hardcore removal right here, you're so behind, because you don't have a unit that you can contest the battlefield right now. But if you use removal this turn, you're not going to have it for when the Yi player actually plays, I don't know, the big ones, Raven Blooms, the Snap Vines or whatever.
Yeah.
Dread Bloom.
Yeah, Snapvine, Master Yi himself, right? Like,
yeah.
like Yi could just like come out of the champion spot. And it looks like that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a 5-drop spell to kill a 2-drop dweeb. Shield Poro
Makes
getting
sense.
Falling Sky again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one you want to pick, right? You know, you
Fully
have
commented.
it not only has the buff, but it gets shield and then the +2 if you're defending alone. So it makes sense. Get rid of the guy that isn't big right now because it's only going to get big when you attack into it. Makes this Soaring Scout take over that battlefield very quickly, going up to 5, which is good because again we went first, right? Like you said, Tam. If we can just get to 8 first by doing this trade of playing a bunch of weenie units like this over and over again, as this daring Poro hits the board, and another recruit. If this is just the game we see of us just playing a bunch of weenies and doing back and forth, but a hidden card coming down now on the battlefield for Victor that he has control over could be scarier now if you are the Yi player trying to attack into it.
Yeah, the two main ones that we have under our colors are things like Consult the Past and Hidden Blade. Consult the Past says I get to draw 2 cards. Hidden Blade says I kill the thing that you're trying to interact with, and then you draw the 2 cards. Or if I'm going to lose the fight, I'll kill my own guy. He's going to die anyways, and then I'll draw 2 cards. So for sure, we're getting a bunch of bonus cards inside the hand. It looks like
You called
the
it.
Consult the Past is what's going to be
Yeah,
letting us refresh our hand.
a cheaper way to draw 2 cards essentially, as we know we are, unless we have a trick here for 1 energy, this Soaring Scout's gonna die. But it does have a death knell effect, of course. When it does die, we do get to channel a rune Exhausted. So very much, you know, turboing that rune rate. And we haven't been recycling very much because of those spells that we've been talking about that don't actually cost that removal. But the point's going to go up for Yi as they not only held a point to start the turn, and they now have conquered this one. We've gone up to 6. Now in lethal range, Tam, as long as we can keep some units on the board. And it looks like Yi's coming out.
Yeah, makes sense. Bring out the Yi, especially with how many Falling Comments that have been played. If we looks like we're gonna swap them. This is a very dangerous play, I think. If we have another Falling Comment, we just get to snipe this Yi because it only gets the buff while in showdowns.
Yep.
And you're allowed to play this as an action on your turn to just shoot it for 6. There's no buff or anything on top of it to increase that might. So that's the question. Did we use these Falling Comments too soon to deal with things like Poros when the Master was coming this whole time?
Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about right now. The fact that that hidden card wasn't a thing like a Hidden Blade, we are on the order domain, so we can find Hidden Blades. We just drew 2 cards, right? We're going to draw 1 more at the beginning of this turn. I'm already seeing a Cull the Weak in our hand, which is not selective removal. Our rival gets to choose which card they kill off if we just kill off one of our own, of course. But that means we also lose a unit for ourselves to try and get closer, because the key point here, Tam, is that we didn't go to 6 like our opponent did. We're still at 5. We can't win the game this turn even if we wanted to try.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, and even like there's a world where we have to deal with both boards over the course of at least one this turn, and we have to deal with it again next turn. Man, the production value is so sick.
It's so cool, man.
That's so good. As we're just sitting here waiting, Victor is taking every line we possibly can in their head of, okay, if I go to A to B to C to the D, does that get there? No. Let's relook at this card. Okay, A to D to B to C, does that get there? No. Okay, I have to figure it out. There's got to be a line to clean this up and not. You said it was check, not let it be checkmate. It looks like Daring Poro is going to be the first maneuver moving in. Gets +1 on the assault, but currently my 3 to your 5. We're still losing.
Yeah, still losing, but we have all of our runes readied, right? As we're going to play a smoke screen. This is one of the biggest success cards, at least for the Kaisa deck, but I might as well not bother talking about it because the Defy immediately comes out as the answer, and then the Daring Poro is going to die. And just like that, Tam, I think he's like, yeah, that's all I had. Game 1 just going to go to Yi as Victor scoops it up.
Yeah. Tough spot for the Victor player. It just felt like the removal spells that we were forced to play were just like not on the rate that we were necessarily looking for to deal with what the end of the game looked like, and we didn't ramp up fast enough to make it happen. We didn't get our champion unit out from the champion zone. Is that
you nailed it, dude?
Correct?
Yeah, you killed it.
And so we didn't get that, which means we didn't get this. Like, imagine how many times we could have, gotten an extra body out to then try and throw more units, throw literal fodder at these defending spots. It just felt like the engine of our deck wasn't online.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's exactly what I think it came down to because we just didn't find the or ready. We either it's two things, right? I'm gonna go back to even the battlefield because we didn't get to talk about them at the beginning of the game because we jumped straight into it. But I think the battlefield that we played for the Victor player there, Tam, was Arena's greatest, which said that we both start the game with a bonus point. That could have been the difference between the Yi player not being at 6 but could have been at 5 at that game, and you at least maybe have one more turn to draw more removal, or it could have come down like what you just said. Did we use our removal too fast? But instead we've got the mirror match here, at least for the battlefields are concerned. I think this is double Obelisk of Power, which means at the beginning of both players' first turn, we're going to get an extra, which means going first, you have 4 runes, and as we're seeing here now for Victor, going second, 5 runes. We could just snap play our champion unit from our champion zone, just like you said. It's the first card of the game.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because Victor chose to go second. He valued the extra rune rather than the tempo play of being able to get on. I keep trying to use the words "get on base" as like a baseball term, but base is a proper noun in the game. And saying "get on battlefield" does not sound nearly as clean as "get on base" to describe it like baseball. But to try and get on base, we're choosing not to do that to gain this extra resource. And you saw it. We're playing these big, high-cost spells to deal with the board. So I get it. I totally understand why you would choose to go second, as runes are important to play more cards.
Yeah, I mean, especially I think if we use the same kind of game plan that we did in game 1, at least for the Victor player, on finding a way back into this match, we do a good job at not recycling a lot of our runes, so I think we do benefit at ramping this a little bit more, whereas the Yi deck has more power uses typically than at least what we've seen so far. So it matters a lot, but I think the biggest thing we're going to run into here is, I mean, we have to kind of talk about it here, Tam. As I'm realizing now, Victor lost game 1 and then chose to go second.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah.
We lost game 1, chose to go second because we cared about the rune rather than trying to get onto the bases to be faster.
Yeah, I think that's a crazy decision, to be honest, because I think this game is... we're still early on, of course. So, I mean, the big difference of, like, going first, going second is still to really be said about, like, how important is that. But, I mean, you've played enough games at this point, Tam. Like, it feels like going first is, like, always the decision, right? I mean, in card games in general.
It is the book play, right? Like, it's the thing that you normally want to go. But, so what I'm excited about is we are at the like top 16 level. This is not the first time that I'm assuming this Victor's player has decided, I lost game 1, I want to go second. I'm excited to see him clean this game up, push it to a game 3, just prove us and the book wrong.
Yeah, I hope so.
Is just a recap of last weekend's tournament. If you already saw it, you're just getting commentary from me and Barrett.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because we didn't get to watch.
yeah. I hope it works out because I do want to see. I want to see the most amount of games that we can possibly get. I think that's the whole point, obviously. And I mean, we're in a very because we can side tangent a little bit more. We're a little more well versed in this now, Tam. You know, we are 2 regionals deep now of a set 1 format for Riftbound, and the same character, if you're paying attention, is doing very well. When we talk about Kaisa, the winner that won last regional. And we have another regional this weekend, Tam. What do you think could be done if characters like Master Yi and Kaisa are just kind of dominating the field? When we look at like a character like Victor right now, we're seeing in this match have very distinct flaws when it comes for going into these matchups. What do you do to balance that playing field?
I mean, I think that there is something to be said about, like, this Victor is not the classic Victor. Whenever I made my Victor deck, this is not the
all
win
con.
I put in my champion zone. It's like, this is not the one that we saw previously. And so I feel like there's already adaptations already happening inside of the space. Love this idea as we hide a thing. This is so cool. I'm connecting the dots as they're happening. We hide the card here so that when my rival puts a showdown, I've sure, I'll lose the unit or whatever, but I'll make the one bag. That's so sick. That's actually so sick. Oh no, am I changing my Victor deck? This is so cool.
It's interesting, right? Because I do think I have a lot of value on the other champion unit, like you said, but you're making me look up the rules. I'm gonna have to go digging. I don't know, because this is the question of like, does a flipped over hidden card count as a card played?
It does play it. I had
It does
the
play
same
it?
question and
Okay.
in the top 4. You may hide it. Hiding it is not playing a card.
Correct.
You play the card for a different cost. Which is the recycle, which is you hide it now, you play it for 0.
Yeah, because I know you still
Which is
react with
important.
it. Like it has reaction timing, which is really
Yeah.
nice. Because sometimes you can hide a card that has action timing, but because you hit it, it now has reaction timing, which is really cool that you can like
Correct.
level up cards that way. But yeah, I know we talked about it last week, but I have to double check. I'm still getting all the rules in a duck, like just like my rose. That's what I said. I said it right.
But this is a Stupefy coming in over on Victor's side. If this does not get defied or whatever, we're gonna re-grab the card as well as make a unit because of our champion touching sitting at home on our base. If we decide that to play the hidden card, I don't know why we wouldn't. That's another one. We've now gone up a unit in terms of what we had, and if we just played a bunch of cards. This is so sick. And a third one coming down as the smoke screen comes in. Let's trade now. Here is reducing yours down. You're a 1, I'm at 1. We'll trade. I'll stick at the hidden, and I'm gonna walk away with 3 recruits back at home base if none of this gets defied.
I think the interesting part here is you don't interrupt abilities in this game. Obviously, like this isn't Universes. We come from Universes, obviously. But we have to put all the triggers on the stack basically on how this works. So first there was an on guard that was played, right, as a response, and now we're getting defied. Well, the defy will say that the smoke screen actually doesn't get played, from what I understand, because it gets countered. But now the stupefy will resolve, and when it goes to the resolutions part of it, we will create our recruit, which I think is what we're doing right now as we are explaining the order and sequencing of things. So it's like you don't get the recruit in the middle of all of this happening. The trigger goes on the stack, and as things resolve, as we go backwards in order, that triggered ability from attempting to play 2 cards, but we actually only played 1 because it got countered, we will only get the 1 recruit, even though we did pay the cost for the smoke screen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the card wasn't played. We negated it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
like from here,
yep,
we're going to Hidden Blade our own unit as we're going to be losing this combat. And so we are going to end up with the second recruit and draw the 2, and we're going to give up the point. That's fine, give it the battlefield, but we're going to have so much advantage. And we got a defy out of Master Yi's hand, which I think is going to be big for the late game.
On guard, defy, and still going to draw 2 at the end of it. This one is interesting because this is the unyielding strength that you typically see come out of the sideboards for most Master Yi decks. It's unyielding something. I think it's strength. But the text on this card says reaction.
Spirit. Unyielding spirit.
Unyielding spirit, thank you. Prevent all spell and ability damage this turn. But the point I'm trying to get at is that Hidden Blade doesn't do any damage. It just kills the thing off. So did we just play a card that we didn't need to play, or did I miss something on something getting a little bit more damage or spells? I don't think so.
I think that it was a misunderstanding of how Hidden Blade worked, right?
Yeah.
And what the word damage, ability damage meant. You're not doing damage, you're killing things.
Oh.
But a charm coming in, a lure. Hey, come to the base, please. One of my favorite cards in the entire game. Charm is just like, hey, come here to meet your maker. It's so sick. I think the interactions with it forces you to become the attacker is like so neat.
I think that one charm though is the reason why I thought it was a pretty good defensive turn for Victor of like what we accomplished, right? We got a bunch of cards out of the hand for Yi. We still generated 2 recruits, which we still have here, but now losing that champion unit, which spoiler Tam, like most of these decks are only ever, especially Victor's, are only playing one of their champion units, and it's the one that's in the zone that you have access to once per game. It's gone. It got charmed, and
Yeah.
I went from thinking that Victor was going to be in a pretty good state as they now start their next turn to yikes, I don't know what we're going to do now, as we have now been forced to kill off our powerful unit on the board, and now we're just left here with 2 recruits and this little Ravenbloom, right? Yeah, Ravenbloom student.
Question for you, and you're. I'm bad at this game.
Okay, all right.
I've played
Implying
a
I'm
lot,
good?
and I'm not very good. Why are people only running one copy of their chosen champion?
It
Like,
deck
why are
size.
they not putting more copies in the deck?
It it's hard, right? It's a set 1 format, and it's a 40 card, no more, no less game. Um, so sorry, I said 40.
It's 40,
Yeah,
and
it's
your
40.
40th card goes
For-
in the spot.
Yeah, so 39 card deck, right? So
Yeah.
the hard part here is, and because I think you see this across all the decks that are very good and competitive, is you have to make a real conscious decision on if you want to play more of your champion unit, if you think it's better than the other 39 cards you're putting in your deck. And the reality is, this one we're forced to have. You have to have one champion unit no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them, though, become, oh, do I actually need this to make my deck and my game plan better? And the reality is, I think that it's really good in Victors if you're winning, but they are not very good when you're behind. Whereas what we see from like Kaisa decks that will play multiple copies of their Fury Domain champion is they are worth playing because it has Accelerate, it draws you cards, it's a 4-drop, it doesn't cost me a power if I cast it without the Accelerate. Like, when you have really good ones, it's nuts. But when you don't have really good ones, like the Victor ones, I would think, you just don't want to put it in the space.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's super, super fair. I think this is going to be a game of fatigue, though. It looks like we have diminished Master Yi's hand completely. If you
Yeah.
look, Victor has got 6, 7, 8 cards in hand to get to play with. And although we are gaining back all of these bases, scoring up now 3 to 5 for Master Yi, all it's going to take is a little bit of spell damage, beat over these large creatures, and then be done. And I think we see it in the hand already.
Yeah, as long as we have removal here, I think it works out. I think the fact that even things like Cole the Weak here are going to be crazy valuable here because we don't have any units on play, Tam, but our opponent does. And so you fulfill as much as you can in this game. So it says we both kill off a unit for a 2 rune play, and yes, you have 1 power. It just says, hey, you got to kill off one of these units at a battlefield, which is very big. And you're right, Tam. Maybe I was too quick on the play about the charm being like the nail in the coffin here, because we did find a way back onto our battlefields. We did get 2 more points to help kind of like stay in the game a little bit. And Master Yi is down to 1 card in their hand, and the only reason they have that card is because we chose to play our champion unit last game. If we can kill off this Master Yi champion unit with any kill spell you're right, we saw them in the hand, this could be huge for Victor.
And we'll never not have a body on the board. Once per turn,
Yes.
I use my legend, I tap the thing, I'm constantly able to push that aggression. Master Yi and the calm body playstyle is, I have a dude, I protect my dude. And as we see, we've got Cole the Weak, we're going to kill the Poro, and now Master Yi is all by his lonesome with a singular card left. We'll see if...
Problem is that this other
is
kill
a
spell, though,
detriment.
is Hidden Blade, which is great for getting the unit off of the board, but this counteracts the other thing that we just said about the controller. The owner of that card gets to draw 2 cards, and we have now given another very powerful unit over to the Yi player. Although I don't think it won't do anything on play because we don't have any units to give the power to, that White Flame Protector, Tam, still says I've got a giant body on board as we now play a Soaring Scout and a Daring Poro. using our mana or using our runes more efficiently to get better units with text instead of getting a recruit. I think that's a fine play. But as we pass back here, now there's 4 cards to play with.
Yeah, very scary stuff. And even they're drawing an extra one. So we've got the Lifeline Protector that has 8 might available to us, as well as
Kiana.
I will go find her Kiana. Oh, Kiana. Yeah. The Q messes me up as it touches the board when it conquers, channel or draw a card. Very cool. And deflect, right? And we've been seeing this. Victor is all about playing these spell damage, select target removal, like the Singularity that we just drew. If we're going to do it, we're not going to cycle back. We're going to recycle an extra one if we're going to deal with the Kiana that's on the board.
Yeah, recycle 3 just to remove a single Kiana doesn't feel very, very good here. I'm hoping maybe one of those Falling Comets will come into play that we saw, but that only works on a unit on a battlefield, and we're not there yet for the Kiana. And when we do Tam, that Lifeline Protector could come down and give it +8 more might, at least on that turn. But I think this is a good position, at least for Victor. We get to kind of reassess the board state and figure out what's going on. Yes, Yi has more cards in hand now, but we have 2 units on the board, and both of them could take over these battlefields to put us up in the score game, keeping us at 5. And you, at least from in this current game state, know that Master Yi can only take 1 battlefield next turn, going up to 6, which is lethal range, but can't win next turn.
Not loving the cards in our hand as we consult the past, pay the 4 to redraw 2. But he said, absolutely not. Master Yi says, no book alert in here. I will defy you read the books. And you will play with the cards that you currently have.
Yeah, really rough counter there, but it was impactful. And again, it is another card out of Master Yi's hand, so it means it's 1 less unit if you're Victor here that you'd think you have to deal with. But we're going to tap another one of our runes sideways in our character or legend, and then we'll generate a recruit, having an extra body. And now the question is, do you take the Daring Poro now? And I think you have to get the score to be caught up. I think you fell out of it last game because of the same very closeness here of I have cards in hand, my opponent doesn't. As long as they run out of units, your deck doesn't work, right? We have to keep up in the score, though, because when it could be 1 turn, Tam, and the Yi deck could draw a Snapvine or draw the Dead Bloom, right? That the Dreadbloom can be played at an occupied battlefield, and not only do they have a unit, but it's so mighty that it can't be removed from the cards that you have that deal direct damage per se. You have to find more kill spells, which if they're killing blows, again, means you're going to give them more cards, and all that work you put into on getting rid of the things in hand disappears. But we're going to hold the Poro back. I think that might be a mistake, to be honest, Tam.
Devil's advocate, though, this is a Daring Poro, right? +1 to that power in order to try and fight the Master Yi legend of, yeah, you'll get the spot, but if we use the Poro here, right?
Yeah.
A significantly better offensive piece to try and recapture the battlefield. That Kiana's just going to go into the Poro, killing it, defeating it, rather than the Soaring Scout, because the Soaring Scout has that Death Kneel. And so I think it is like, you're going to get the base anyways. Let me not just lose the Poro and get the point now, and I can hold. And like I think that there's a calculation of like not thinking about this turn, but thinking about 3 turns from now. But you're right. Will there be 3 turns to get to? And I think that's what the Victor player here is like trying to hope for.
Yeah, and you're right. They're going to get the Conquer ability here. They're going to be able to draw another card, which they did. It ended up being a Zhonya's Hourglass, which we could say hit the board here.
Huge.
Yep, because I think this is a lot more important than playing the White Flame Protector when you don't need it. But here's my other counterpoint to it, Tam. We would have gone to 5 points, and because you knew your opponent only had 1 unit, you were going to be able to hold the battlefield. Granted, we held the battlefield anyway, because I guess that Death Knell was deterring enough, but we could have been at 6 points here, Tam, when like you were going to lose control of that battlefield anyway instead of the 5. Now it means if we don't kill this Kiana and get another unit onto a battlefield, we're not in lethal range when our opponent is.
Yeah, this is tough, but Recruit plus Poro does go on it's a 2 that goes to 3, 4. Kiana is at 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got to find 3 more might somewhere.
It's going to be so hard. It's not even just that, Tam. Now your removal has even less benefits because the Zhonya's Hourglass came down. It's not just because your opponent's in lethal range. You have to assume that they might be able to play an accelerate unit. So if you don't kill both units, they could win. Oh, by the way, you have to kill one of them twice because of the Zoni's Hourglass. And the game could just be over.
Yeah, deep in the tank here as we're trying to figure out what our options are. What is the correct line? It looks like we're reaching for a lot of runes here. I could see possibly a Thousand-Tailed Watcher come down, and that would clean up this base pretty handedly. And here it is, all the way down. It looks like we are going to recycle back 2 runes to have this come in accelerated, which means ready to engage.
Yeah, so a 7-drop is now an 8-drop, but it costs us an extra power and an extra energy total because it's going to come in ready. On play, it has an effect. When it enters, it will give -3 might to a minimum of 1 to all of your opponent's units, which include that pit rookie all the way in the back. But now this Kiana is very easy to be overrun by the Watcher itself, and the Watcher is one of the bigger might units that this Victor deck is playing anyway, so it's going to be a little bit better to defend against even that pit rookie that might be swinging in next turn, forcing the Yi player to go over to where the Soaring Scout is, and you're okay with that. The Soaring Scout did its job. It got you the point. It retained a point, and when it dies, it's going to give you one of those runes back that you recycled to play the Watcher anyway.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a dope play. I think the real leading factor here is just that Hourglass. I think Hourglass saying that yes, I come in and I conquer and I get rid of this other powerful champion, and it's not gone permanently.
Correct.
I'm trading a permanent resource for this other resource.
Yeah, like the Watcher is great and all, but the problem with this current turn as we pass,
lose the buff?
It doesn't actually.
No,
so
it
it's a replacement effect. So it never actually dies. It heals its damage, and then stays, and you recall it. Which recalling it is not a movement, but it is putting it back in your base. It never touches the discard pile, so the buff does retain. For everybody that plays Set at home, Set is the same idea. So your buffs don't stick around though for that character because you have to spend the buff. So that one makes sense. But if you play, find a way to get Zonia in Leona, you can have buffed units and then Zonia's Hourglass them, and they keep the buffs on them. But yeah, so we overload the other base here or battlefield. We go to 6. We're in lethal range, and you are now challenging the Yi player to find a way to get over both. But Tam, that's exactly what White Flame Protector is very good. All of a sudden, your weak pit rookie that you didn't think was good enough to conquer one of these battlefields, all of a sudden does become strong enough to go on a battlefield. And as we even draw a discipline on top of it, I think it might get us just enough power over the edge for both of these 2 units that stayed alive because they couldn't get permanently removed. They're big enough now to combat both sides. So Kiana here is a 5 might unit. We're going to play a discipline on her, which is going to get her over the top here of the 1, 2, 5 might that was available at that battlefield. Draws us a card,
right?
Yeah, on the Conquer
for a little extra gas. And if we have the runes to play out the White Protector, looks like we do.
Yeah,
play the
8 plus 8.
Rookie.
Game 2 in the match.
Everything that Victor did not want to see happened as our Master Yi player pops off and is like, I top decked the Defy, dude. It was so sick. Smile to the camera. Or not Defy, Discipline, sorry.
Yeah, and it was just enough. And then, the extra draws probably didn't really matter there, but I think it all just kind of came down to, like we were talking about, in Game 1, Tam, using the removal a little early could have been the reason why we lost. And again, the game was different because we started with a battlefield that gave both players an extra point. Getting that 1 point closer to winning, it was close. And even in that game, too, there were multiple points where it was close, and it just very quickly escaped the clutches of the Victor deck because if you can't keep it up, even if you have the cards in your hand, if you don't keep removing the Yi's pieces, they just end up taking over the battlefields and get that score advantage. So yeah, that's going to be the top 16 match going to that Master Yi. And from what I understand at the event at the time, Tam, that was the last Victor in the tournament after getting eliminated. So Victor Nation fans had to say goodbye to their last representation.
I think it's so sick though that it happened not on the Victor that we expected.
Yes,
right? that was not the champion that I recognized him, and then I went, wait,
that's not yellow.
The wrong guy.
Yeah, that's not yellow.
That's so it's so cool to see the adaptation that's happening, even in the number one thing that I hear about Riftbound's really fun, but it's got one set problems. We found out adaptation already in the second regional.
And
it's sick.
they were still the best victor at the tournament. So it says something. And I love it when people do that.
It does say something. All right, we're going to move on to top 8. There it is. All right, I've clicked the record button. You trying to bring us in?
What am I supposed to say? What do you want me to say?
I don't know. You can say what you want.
Did you hit record?
I've hit the button. You may begin.
What's up, everybody? I'm back here with my good friend Tam Cardwell on his own YouTube channel, taking over the scene because we are here commentating the second Chinese regional in Beijing. This is now our top 8 matchup. Tam, how'd I do? Did I bring us in okay?
It was great. It was so good. I only did it because you're also streaming over on Riftbound Ramblings. I wanted to share a little bit of the love for it's also your broadcast. So anybody on my end, if you're not here, please make sure you go and you check out Riftbound Ramblings. Link to that will be in the description of the VOD videos down below. Or you can click on the name in the title. But with that, we have a fun one. I believe this is Kaisa. So a Kaisa mirror feels like this. I don't know the lore of League of Legends. I don't know it. I will be learning it very soon for a video on my channel. But it feels like this is more or less like less of an alien and more of a gunslinger at this point, because of the amount of spell damage that is going to be shooting across the table.
I think the idea here is, I won't give you the full lore. So Kaisa is she is a character in the lore that is associated with the Void, and the Void is like this. Alien's a good term, but think of them as otherworldly power comes from the Void. And Kaisa is a Void Seeker. She has gained powers from this, and in the game, I think her flavor in Riftbound is closer to her gameplay mechanics of League of Legends, less of her lore, because in the game, she is known as a AD carry, which is known as a tack damage carry, but she can also get benefits and does have a bunch of benefits for building ability power as well. So she's known as like a hybrid damage champion. So it's cool because she slings spells in the idea in the game, just like how you use spells in League of Legends, use your Q, W, E, and R, but she is an attack damage carry, but she still benefits from this other aspect of the game. So I think it leans into a lot more of like what the future of red-blue decks can do. And we already know that next set we're getting another red-blue legend with Rumble, who's getting a deck as well. So it'll be interesting to see, very much how you see what Lee Sin does versus what Master Yi does. What does Kaisa do for the color identification versus what does Rumble do? And I think we'll see something that's not similar to what Kaisa does, spell slinging in red-blue. So I think it's kind of fun, but not really a lot of lore drops necessarily from the Riftbound cards comparatively to the League of Legends stuff.
Rumble
but
sounds like a wrestler. Am I crazy?
No, that's fair. That makes sense. One of his skins.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
Is a wrestler? Yeah.
No, one of his skins is Rumble in the Jungle, though. And his ultimate ability, instead of firing like rockets down on the ground, he files like pineapple, or coconut missiles or something. It's really cool.
I love it.
I love Rumble.
That's dope. All right,
but
into the game though.
Kaisamir.
It's gonna be tough now because we've got. If we look at our player names, we've got RXD, obviously the team name, AI Padu versus RXD AI. So I'm gonna call one pot and one AI. Thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Just to keep them clean.
Yeah.
Sorry about we physically cannot read your names, or your tags, whatever your tag is. Both players opted to go for Zwan Warrens, which says after you conquer here, discard a card, redraw a card, saying that it is not about the abilities on the boards necessarily, but the power and consistency of my hand. Get rid of the bad ones. Let's draw the good ones. As you see, instantly playing this Hex Tech Ray, it looks like, to shoot somebody. Did I miss it? Yeah, we played the Hextech race so that we could
Yeah.
play the Legion card.
Yeah, exactly. And the other idea too is so Potu going first this game, getting a very large board advantage right off the bat, which is typically kind of scary, at least in the mirror match, because it gives your opponent the first chance to play the spells in rebuttal. But it's having some success here, but it's also going to be interesting because AI is going to have access to get the first point of the game, or score, I should say, and it could matter a lot. But immediately using Kaisa and I think another Hextech Ray to immediately kill it off.
Slam it into the discard pile.
Yeah, before you get access to it.
I bet these players are locals. I bet these players playtest all the time together, and just like play, because that was so fast. There was no question involved. That's probably happened 100 times already in the Riftbound cycle, but just between these two players.
From what I understand, RXD is a team that is associated because there are multiple people that have now topped with RXD as their leading of their username, and including some of the Master Yis in this top cut. So, and I think for everybody that we're not going to be able to do every match, obviously, and we only do the ones that they showed. But this is the Kaisa mirror, I think, on one half of the top 8 bracket right here, and on the other half of the top 8 bracket, there's a Yi mirror. So like, they're already kind of like cannibalizing a little bit on each other, but one of those Yi players is another representative of the RXD team. So they didn't just all play Kaisa, and even within their decks, like there's some similarities on like the main deck, but the sideboards have a little bit more unique choice. Like they definitely have all been working together and trying to figure out what is the correct list. And at least for this top cup, Tam, and what I'm hoping we see in this match, there is some new technology that these Kaisa players are playing with that we did not see from the last regional, and I hope they hit the board so we can talk about them.
It's dope. We have 2 points to 0 as Batu comes in and again fills up. We talk about how Kaisa's this spell slinger, and it looks like there's just a bunch of 2-drop dweebs hitting the board. There's so many over and over and over again. Where's the explosions? Where are the fireworks? Where are the falling stars? Where's it happening?
I think that's what it comes down to, right? Is like the first falling star that gets played is going to be really high impact for both of these players now, right? Because they all have a bunch of weenies. But the other part too is the attacks, or sorry, the units that we found. Literally, Potu found 3 copies of Watchful Sentry, which say that even if you do kill them off, I'm going to redraw a card, whereas AI over here only found 1 of them, and instead sitting with Raven Blooms, but the Raven Blooms are also on the other side of Potu, really seeing the going first really benefiting here, because they also still had the runes to play those Hextech Rays that kept AI off of these battlefields, but the first champion unit is going to hit the board. We did accelerate it, so it went ahead and attacked, and when it conquers, you draw a card, and then we even have the battlefield effect that says discard draw, right?
I think that draw is really impactful. I mean, we just said falling star is a really high impact card here, and I think that's what we drew.
Love it. And we do, I believe,
have... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so we discarded a card as well and then drew one. So we pitched a Hextech Ray, and I think we drew a Cleave off the top. But you're right. We still have enough energy to make that removal matter. And the thing about Falling Stars is that it doesn't pick battlefields. Yeah, is that it doesn't pick battlefields. So we can pick maybe avoid the Watchful Sentries because we don't want to give the extra hand advantage right now. But we could instead pick the Noxus Hopeful, that is over on the other side of the stage, and their own Raven Bloom, which will help them at least with the power game get over, and instead force more removal from Potu.
I think Noxus is a 4 might, so we'd be off by 1, so it wouldn't quite kill it. So I think we have to, we've got to figure out something else. But even then, Stupefy
makes it work
for the minus. Oh. Okay, all right. Somebody pre-watch.
I was right. No, I didn't actually pre-watch it. But that was, I mean, we had 3 runes to play with. That extra 1 is exactly. I think this is the best play that they could have made, right? You're right. I said it. I commentated it, and I was wrong. They corrected me and said I got to Stupefy, redraw this card anyway, get back on the board themselves, bringing the score back up, and now all. So you did kill 1 sentry, of course, taking over this battlefield, giving them 1 draw back for Potu. But now if you want to attack and get your draws for the Watchful Sentries, if you don't have removal, you just have to kind of run these in and draw cards.
Yeah, which like one of the easiest ways for Kaisas to get steamrolled over is just they're very spell heavy. Not having available units to score points and actually win the game can be really detrimental. If all you're doing is cleanup, you're not actually like progressing your game state forward. It's a very slippery slope to defeat. Man, what a crazy turn for AI. That was so sick.
It was nuts.
It's
It was
making
good.
me I'm a Stupefy hater. It's really showing me why that card's very good.
Really? You don't
Yeah.
like Stupefy?
I just thought I get that redraw is good, but like minus I guess I'm undervaluing what like
-1 might.
accidentally -1 power is or -1 might is doing at the one cost. I feel like I want to play like these bigger, more high impact, or give me more singularities than Stupefies. But obviously working in tandem, working tactically with things like Falling Star, really showcasing that card. It's dope.
I think you're fair to have that feeling on Stupefy. I think for me, especially when you're sitting and you look at these Ravenbloom students on the board, it's not necessarily always just a one might swing. It could be more, right? Because you have synergies that work with it in comparison. And you see but you're right. It's no smoke screen. Smoke screen for -4 for
Yeah.
2 energy and a recycle versus the 1 energy redraw -1, but I mean that -1 was exactly why it mattered. So it's going to be an exchange of resources, and we are very quickly having to use a lot of our own. We played our own Kaisa champion unit, of course, and accelerated, took over the weaker battlefields. No,
It's
my
so
bad.
funny that every time that a Kaisa has conquested and activated her conquest ability, she's drawn a falling star.
That's true.
It's like you like have to do it. It's a canon event.
They work together
Love
in
it.
tandem, if you
It's
would
very
say.
funny.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna pass back to AI right now, and they have a lot like healthier looking runes, I would say. 4 and 4 is a nice good split, and they have 8 to play with here. So removals on the table, more units are on the table, a little bit of both. When we see something like Darius maybe hit the board, and then play a spell immediately after it to ready the Darius, give it +2. It's gonna be nice to help get over that Kaisa for sure. But we did get to no, so yeah, we have to get rid of both of them here. So Ravenbloom, and then it's going to get cleaved immediately, which gives it an extra might from its own ability, and it has Assault 3, making your little 2-drop good enough to get over the champion unit of the Kaisa. Going to get the Conquer, going to get the point, and then we even have the ability of the battlefield, discarding a card, getting rid of that Hextech Ray, and we drew a Void Seeker. So does a little bit more damage, but costs a little bit more and draws a card still.
Yeah, I mean this is again unit fight, and now units versus units at the start of the game. We're now drawing into these powerful removal spells. Even I would consider cleave a removal spell when used with a unit, right? Like we had a Ravenbloom student beat a Kaisa in a fight, which is like not a thing that you would expect.
Yeah, you normally don't, but that's the bit. That's the that's. Oh, go ahead.
Hit me with some lore. When I watch League casually, right?
Okay.
What are the minions that you're like fighting in the lane? Are they represented inside of the game currently? Like, would we consider this Ravenbloom student a minion or a unit? Like, are they whatever? Because if so, it's just funny to watch Kaisa get sniped by a minion.
No. So minions are very much like summoned beings by the summoners that control the rift, that are strictly there
Okay.
in the battling of on the rift, basically, of taking over and destroying your opponent's nexus. They are summoned little units to help with that progression, like a mini army. When it comes to where a lot of more of these characters come from, which is from the Legends of Runeterra card game that they had before going into Riftbound, these actual, like, even though they don't have names associated with them, like Watchful Sentry, like, this is a character that exists in the world of Runeterra.
Sure.
That's the name of their planet or their world or whatever. And so this Watchful Sentry, like, works for someone that you might know in the lore. Like, he's a Watchful Sentry of the Freljordian. Like, he works for Ashe, who's the queen of the Freljord area, and he's just a sentry that works the Great Wall, like in Game of Thrones. That's like his job. This is your Jon Snow kind of stylized character, but instead of being called Jon Snow, he's just representing his title, which is a Watchful Sentry. This Ravenbloom student is an actual student that probably, has learned the ways of Ravenbloom magic underneath, someone like, I don't know, Fey teacher, like a Lulu maybe. I don't know, stuff like that. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll have cards like Cythria. That one's a named character, and in
Mhm.
Runeterra, Cythria actually has multiple cards that have Cythria on it, and you see Cythria's journey on the cards. So a lot of people are excited because Cythria is already in set one, and eventually Cythria, at least in Runeterra, her like third card that came out, she was like an 8-drop with like 8 power on her, and she did some crazy effect because she was no longer a youthful apprentice. She became a powerful warrior in the army that she works for, and so you like there's like there's there's these are small characters and what they represent, at least here on the card game, but
Yeah.
they're named beings.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm excited. Again, I don't want to spoil too much of Pippa's presentation,
Yeah.
but I am excited to learn about it. I do want a deck of all these little minions though. I do want like a minion card is like a 1-drop that says you can have any number of these in your deck and just like slam them all. How many can I put just like to spam?
There is
I
at
think it'd be
least
fun.
one card in the game that has a minion on it. And I
What?
believe it's like that very high costed chaos spell, possession, the one that like steals control of one of your opponent's guys. That is
Oh.
a minion on that one. Um,
Look at him. He's
yeah,
so cute. I want a whole deck. I just want a whole deck of
they're
the
adorable.
little
Yeah,
dweebs.
yeah, I'm sure. But like Poros are like the closest things to minions, but Poros are more of like a mascot animal of the world of League of Legends. And how
Sure.
there's a bunch of different ones. And yeah, I'm sure you've heard like Braum is a champion that's like associated with Poros. Yeah,
Braum is a name that I know.
yeah, Braum.
Braum
Yeah,
is a name that I know.
yeah, it's cool.
Uh,
But back to the game. um,
yeah. Back to the game.
a lot
We
kind of
had
happened on
the
AI's turn, but
yeah.
we didn't actually result on like getting battlefields back. We were reciprocated by quite a bit of removal, and it very much led to the board state being very empty for Potu to kind of now play this Darius, play another card, and it readies its up. And now we've immediately gone to 6 score over on Potu's side, and now AI is very behind because all they have is this Noxian Hopeful in play, and we still have all these runes, but we not only have to deal with removal, but if anything like accelerated units come out next turn for Potu, the game could just be over, because if we have to spend all of our energy right here and now to reestablish the board state and get rid of the things that Potu has on board, we might just completely open because we had to turn all of our runes sideways.
I thought I saw some 8-drop in one of these players' hands, and while we were
Yes.
yapping, I wonder if we played it and then it already left.
We did not. No, I would
Am
have
I
talked
crazy?
about it. I would have stopped
Oh
you.
no, it's still there. It's
Because
still there.
yeah, because that
Okay.
was the
All
new
right.
tech that a lot of these Kaisa decks are now putting into their decks. Main boarded. Some of them were sideboarded in the past, but now they're main boarded, and I really wanted to hit the board. But here we're trying to see like this reciprocation play here from AI. Played our own Darius. Played this Pouty Poro. Because ours gets +2 might, makes this kill very easy. Also, Potu is completely tapped out, so no removal this turn at least, but your Noxian Hopeful easily kills off the Sentry, but now you're in the scary situation where now you have the board, but how many readied runes do we have? It's only 3. We could play something interesting, or you could hold it up for a rebuttal spell when we go back to Potu's turn, because Potu is in lethal range. They could play like double accelerate unit and take over, or again, we have this hopeful, if we just play removal and 1 accelerate unit, the game could be over.
Yeah, I just talking about from the last video that we did of like the adaptation that we saw from the Victor and then
Yeah.
the Master Yi. Looking at this Pouty Poro, I don't remember seeing it last week whenever we did the normal rounds rather
Yeah.
than the top cut rounds. Um, Knowing that we've got a Kaisa being so prevalent in the metagame and having a 2-drop that has deflect to make you recycle extras if you want to snipe it with a spell is just so annoyingly good. I love it. I love this small adaptation of what's the best kind of 2-drop. I look at Pouty Poro and I go, that'll never be relevant ever. But here it is at the top 4 match just because like of how, or this is top 8? This is top 8.
This is top 8. I mean, you're right. I mean, that is even
Yeah.
the adaptation that we've seen for like the body decks, right? Like in the beginning, the Master Yis and the sets of the world weren't playing Kiana. Not because Kiana's bad. Kiana's a great card, but it was just that 4
Yeah.
energy, 1 power thing. You played a different card over it. And then Kaisa became popular, and you realize, man, I'm struggling in this matchup because I just fall a little behind. What helps you keep that momentum of going back and forth in this game? It is the power cost mechanic, and that little bit of deflect that you can put on these units make it a little harder. And man, remember on early in this game where we got where Potu played the Hextech Ray and denied that first point going off here? We swung in with our hopeful, and the extra remaining runes that AI had was, I'm going to tap out for this Void Seeker, which does 4 damage and draws a card, denying the point grab from Potu, and now Potu's like, I can't believe it. That might be the reason why I don't win right here, because now they have 8 runes to play with. If we would have gotten that point here, Tam, gone to 7, one watchful Thousand Eye Watcher wins the game here because of the on playability and the accelerate. But now if we pay the 8 to accelerate this and get that battlefield, we now are just, you're basically just saying, well, if AI has an accelerate unit, I lose the game. And he's like, I just don't have it. He's like, I can't pay for it.
Ithacan Ray.
Okay. Oh, Cathian Rain's happening. Oh, we did play a Cathian Rain.
Yeah.
Okay, this will board wipe.
Cathian Rain is happening. Yeah, for the board wipe. Deal 2 damage to 6 things. You can pick the same one. More than once.
That's probably a much better play then, because this is now asking AI to have 2 accelerate units, which the one Darius. Oh, it's Darius plus Watchful, or sorry, yeah, Thousand-Tailed Watcher, which, if you do the math, adds up to 12 runes, 13 if you accelerate it. So it's probably not going to be enough. But then I think
9. At least that's what's showing at the top of the screen.
I do like this though. I think
more than 9 though.
Yeah, we don't have. Yeah, we definitely don't have 13. You can't even put 13 in your deck, Tam. But instead, I do like this though. Just still put Potu on having an answer for both, right? So if we put ourselves to 7 by playing this Darius here, which we just did, playing another card so it readies itself, you then put the onus once again on Potu. Like, you still have to have removal, because this Darius, if it holds me the point to 8, I win the game. And if it doesn't hold me the point to win, I'm now going to be at 7, which means the Conquerors have a little bit more value by giving you a draw card effect until you win the game.
Looks like we don't do it though. Looks like we opt to just leave him at the base to say, hey, he's way better while attacking, and so instead of holding, let's do it. But it looks like we're going to shoot it. Maybe a bit of a detriment here. This could have gotten a point and made us go a little further. But Falling Star saying that's not what's going to happen unless we have some amount of spells to be played.
Yeah, you get to do this twice, deal 3 damage to a unit. So we're going to pick Darius twice, which is going to be easily enough to deal with the 5 might. But, I mean, Tam, we kept up 8 energy over on AI's side. Like, I think we're trying to see that there's a reaction here, maybe to save it. But the reality is, Tam, is that the thing about these Kaisa decks are really good at is removal. They're not good at protecting their own units. They don't have defensive tricks like the Body Domain or Calm Domain does. It is very much, oh, you did damage to my unit? I guess I'll respond by doing damage also to yours. Like, it doesn't keep your unit alive. It just, shares the load of dealing damage to other things.
I think our question there was, am I allowed to play 2 cards as your Fallings is resolving to then have Darius ready himself, get the +2, so he goes to 7, only takes 6?
You do.
As that idea, but with so much more energy on Patu's side, it feels like it probably was a waste of some turns.
Yeah, so we just same idea, right? The restriction here, right? It was pretty much just play Yordle, just play Falling Stars on the side for Potu, and we passed back. So again, we just drew some cards and got a removal out, and now we are back on AI's side, and we're just starting things off with a Stupefy to redraw a card and give -1 to this Yordle, which doesn't actually do anything. And we are, put our hands down, put our hands on our face, like, once again showing of like, man, if only in this game I was able to have 13 runes, I could have won with a Watcher plus Darius play. But you're just constantly, like, you're running out of units at this rate, right? Like, I mean, the problem now is that I see double Watcher in AI's hand, and you can never play 2 of those in a turn.
Yeah. It
Pouty
can't
Poro.
happen, but yeah, Pouty coming down saying, "Hey, if you want to kill this one, it will cost you a little bit more." And I'm sure Pouty's gonna be like, "Sure, dude, I'm in. I'm down. I'm down to shoot it with a spell."
I think yeah. So we are gonna play the Watcher. I think that was my fear here was like if we didn't go to 7 again for 2 turns in a row, and we don't have a removal for the Yordle, which I just don't think we're willing to pay for. Our opponent plays 1 accelerate unit and we lose the game, right? Like, if
Yeah.
your removal was already not good enough, I mean, we're now at double falling stars in our hand that we cannot pay for. We are pretty susceptible here.
Yeah, their own Thousand Tails
Ends the game.
off the top wins the game.
That would have been crazy.
It looks like that's not what's going to happen. That would have been crazy. From here, also could go to 9 or go to. Oh, sorry. We have to win. We have to have a way to deal with this Thousand.
We have to
Tails,
clear the
or
board or do something.
You'll hold for your eighth point and then it's over.
Correct. So we have to kill off this Watcher. That's priority number 1. We're going to go to 7 ourselves, though, and say, because, again, yeah, this discard draw, if that was a Watcher, that would have been crazy. But it just doesn't seem like we have the correct answers. We have some cool cards in our hand, Tam, but they're not ones to win in this specific scenario. Again, even so the smoke screen, this is a crazy play, right? We're having to smoke screen the Watcher to give it -4, so that now our falling is lethal for it. And it does mean that you can ping the Poro if we want as well, which we do. We do pay
extra
deflect cost. That's right.
Recycle cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the falling stars already cost us 2 recycle as well. And then play our own little Poro, presenting 7 game. And now remember, Tam, just because you conquer a battlefield and it would be the 8th point, you have to conquer both in the same turn. So this accelerate Watcher now in AI's hand isn't enough to win the game. It's only enough to remove that Yordle off the board.
Yes, it removes the Yordle, but then presents another. Well, do we have a second Watcher?
No, we played one earlier. We have a second one in our hand. Yeah.
Oh, I did not realize that. I didn't realize we have a second one. I mean, hey, at this point, you saw how tough it was for Patu to deal with the first Watcher. I think you accelerate it, you push it up, and say, hey, you have to. I'm just gonna hold this 7 might unit at the battlefield.
Looks like we went for our own falling star here of our own, and instead, man, if we accelerate this, it'll be crazy. It makes sense though. Again, it's the I can win by holding a point instead of conquering twice. And then remember,
that's the game plan.
Yeah, if we're at 7, it draws us a card.
And the Yordle. If we have the 3, we've got 2 left. We've only got 2 left.
Yeah. And then the effect, we drew the Mundo.
just hanging out.
It drew the Dr. Now both players have a Mundo, but now again it's the onus again on Potu. You have to draw removal here. We're looking at the cards in our hand. Mundo does not have Accelerate, Tam. Like
What Darius does?
The Poro draw.
Rip it off the top.
The 7 Accelerate. Doesn't win the game again, but it keeps you in the game for another turn. Oh, we are freaking out. We are like, I can't believe I just drew this answer.
I can't believe I got him.
Can't believe I drew this answer.
We know we have the cleave. We have the cleave to give it the thing, so we'll get onto the battlefield and ask that same question. This is check. Can you stop it?
Yeah, we use our last readied energy here to play the cleave from our hand, giving it Exalt 3. It will now go up to 10 as an attacker, and no rebuttal here once again. Gets the conquer, not the win, but it gets us a draw, and then also the discard draw that comes with the Zon Warrens, getting our hand a little bit better. At this point, just get rid of these Mundos, guys. The Mundos are not going to win us these games.
Slow. They're too slow.
I want to talk about the Mundos so bad, but it's not how you win this game right here.
Is Mundo plus damage for
plus might for every card in your trash?
There's 100 of them.
Yeah, there are.
It looks like I'm gonna keep it. The card's too cool to get rid of, Barrett.
Oh,
Which I
another
agree.
Darius is crazy draw right there. But again, yeah, we're asking the question once again for AI. You have to have an answer to this Darius. What do you have? We already used the Watcher. We might see a very similar play that we saw on the other side of the table earlier, which is we might have to, our Falling Star is at least enough to remove this, but it's not enough to remove the Darius and the Yordle. But you could smoke screen the Darius and then use it, just like we saw earlier on the other side of the table. But I think the biggest thing I'm noticing here, Tam, we're running out of units for AI. And
yeah.
This is Yordle's coming in.
Yordle,
oh, I'm wrong.
And then the Legionnaire. This game has been nothing but top deck after top deck after top deck. This is so sick.
Yeah.
As we have the Noxus Hopeful bringing hope back to AI's game.
Literally, right? Smoke screen play coming in. I think we are going to see the smoke screen Falling Star play. We're recycling these two back, deal 3 to each of those, killing them off, and then it still leaves us enough runes here to play that Noxian Hopeful because of the Legion ability. 2 units on board. Tam, that's enough to win the game next turn with no more removal. What does Potu have?
Check.
You have to conquer both battlefields to win, or you must remove stuff to stop the win on the other side. And we drew an answer once again. We drew a Falling Star. I think that's the last one here for Potu's deck. We could play the Darius and play the Falling Stars. It won't kill the Hopeful. Remember, it's at 4. But we're only gonna kill the Hopeful. Don't kill the Poro,
which makes sense.
The Poro's easier to kill later. And
it's easier to kill later, and the Hopeful wins the Darius fight if we find another cleave.
True.
The Poro will only
That's
die.
fair. You're 100% right. And I think we still are going to slam this Darius here just to have it come in the battlefield ready. And remember, if we conquer a battlefield, it asks the question again of the AI, and it still draws us a card and gives us a cycle draw. So draw 1 from the not getting a point, and then on conquer, now we have to make a decision.
Oh, wow. Do we lose the Dr. Mundo, which is too big to kill with a spell?
But it's a removal spell. We just drew a Hex Tech. We just drew a Hex Tech Ray, which is enough to kill off the Unyielding Poro on the other side of the board. Not Unyielding Poro. I'm already forgetting.
What do you pick? What do you pick?
I think you get rid of the Mundo. Tam, I would have gotten rid of the Mundo 2-3 turns ago.
But he's so cool.
He's
Look
so
how
cool,
he is.
and he can't be removed. So that's the thing, though, is that you are just the Mundo is asking that AI doesn't play a single unit for a turn, and at that point they've already lost. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Mundo only is going to help you win the game by holding on to a point because of how much might it has. Yeah, I think we hold on to it. We have a Hex Tech Ray in our hand. This is crazy. We're going to go for it. Getting Hex Tech Raid immediately down. Having to recycle 1 back. Denying the Conquer, which denies the Zon Warren's ability and the draw. And that's the hand.
And there it is.
We didn't draw anything.
Whoa, that was so sick. Look at him. He's like, I can't believe I top deck
that Darius.
To back. Oh, it was nothing but it was Darius into the Falling Stars into this Hex Tech. Like it was like the stars aligned for Patu to win that one. It was, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that close, I'll be honest. I guess I underestimated the power of both of the decks going, like, when you go first versus when you go second, right? Like, I mean, it's something we kind of talked about earlier, which was like, I just thought if you put 2 decks on an equal playing field, right? Yes, this is a draw 1 game, but there's a lot of draw on these decks, and they're both playing the main board in Mundos. Like, a lot of the main board tech is the same. They're on the same team, Tam. They might just be playing the same boards.
Yeah.
I thought going first would be a big enough reason why you accelerate a game plan, but Potu here, finding the right pieces at the right time better than his opponent, gets the game 1 win.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, that was really exciting of how scrappy the matches were. But with a new match, we have new battlefields. Potu decided to play the signature battlefield, the Void Gate. When at this battlefield, everybody's spells hit a little bit harder. And then it looks like AI decided to play Reaver's Row, When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit from here back to base, showing that AI knew that the reason we lost that game is because we did not have enough units. And yes, you're going to kill them via spells, but I need to make sure they stay alive during the battlefield. Or during the battles. Showdowns. During the showdowns is the word I'm going to use.
Wonder if we're going to see something we talked about last week here, Tam, which was the idea of when you play a battlefield of your choice for your deck, are you going to get more mileage out of it, or is your opponent going to abuse it because you put it on the board? Because yes, you're right. AI is allowed to retreat their units if they get attacked, but as we saw last game, that wasn't a lot of the ways that AI POTU or iPOTU was removing things. It's not typically through battle, but it does put a little bit less impact on those Dariuses and the Watchers, right? Because now when you accelerate them or they come in ready and they go for the swing, you get to protect your unit instead of trading it in the fight.
We're slamming Kaisa on the board on turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, why is do you want to pay the accelerate?
Hey, you don't have to. You don't have a falling star. What are you doing? That's
well,
crazy.
Even if it is a falling star, it's hey, you have to pick both modes or both choices for the Kaisa. I think it's more of like you specifically don't have a Void Seeker in your hand. And at least here, going for the safety attack again, Potu, it's not his battlefield, but getting first use basically if we get attacked into going here. Instead, the tried and true we saw from Potu last game, play a bunch of these weenies, 2-drop into 2-drop into 2-drop across 2 turns, feels pretty good. And yeah, that Kaisa is going to stay alive though, so we are going to get that powerful on Conquer ability because with only one readied rune, I mean, it could be a Hextech Ray as a defense also with the Watcher, but even still, that's only going to barely add up for a trade. Which
it will, right? Because Hextech deals 4 now.
I thought
and Kaiser's at 4.
It only deals 3, right?
Well, 3, but the Void says that it deals +1.
Yeah, but I would assume we'd want to attack the other one. You are correct.
You're so right.
But,
you're so right. I'm looking at conquering the open battlefield rather than the one that the Watcher says.
But you might as well just send the weenie to the open battlefield, right?
You're so right.
Yeah. But you are correct. It would do 4. You're right. Which does change, I think, the dynamic of this matchup, right? Because I think both of these players are just going to avoid the Void Gate like the plague.
Yeah. That does make sense. Which is cool. Looks like we're opting to use the once per turn to retreat. Is that the right word? Retreat our unit back?
Yeah, retreat. Yeah.
Love it. Back
Return.
To our
what does it say? Move.
Well, look.
It says move. Which matters because
Darius comes down.
Because certain things in the game count as movement and some of them don't. But yeah, just hard slamming the Darius, recycling the 1. It's a good unit as long as we play a thing. But not even gonna go for the Kaisa Conquer. We just said pass.
Yeah, slow and steady is gonna try and win this race as we draw up another our own Raven Bloom student. Double check that name.
No, you're right. This is a crazy way to play this matchup, Tam. We are
whose side?
Both of them. So I think literally what happened. And I don't even know if it's okay. So we do have a Hextech Ray. That was my question. If iPOTU had a Hextech Ray, we just completely played around it because of exactly what you said, Tam. We didn't send our Kaisa at the Void Gate for the Conquer draw because we weren't ever going to get it off. Because as soon as Kaisa touches that battlefield, the Hextech Ray is enough to remove it. We're just going to fight over this Reaver's Row over and over and over again until someone at this table hits 6 points, and then we'll start conquering the other one. But I guess I'm wrong. AI POTU mixing it up with the Watchful Sentry because it's okay if it dies. It'll draw us a card regardless. Raven Bloom coming down. 5 units on the side of POTU's board versus the 3 on AI's. But we have some meaningful ones, right? We have the Kaisa and the Darius versus a bunch of little weenie guys on the other side.
I love the aggression here from my Patu of just like, I'm pushing. I won game 1. The onus is on you to beat me. And if you're afraid to play at the battlefield that I selected, I'm gonna play the battlefield I selected. 3-1. Just we saw how close that game was. Having an entire point lead this early in the game with how reserved AI is playing could just spell disaster, just purely based on the cadence of how the game is played.
Yeah, and again, we're playing very safe here with this Kaisa champion unit. That one's at 4. I'll just swing the Darius in. There's no other thing I'm going to do. And remember, because Darius, we don't normally see this happen, but Darius stuck around on the board. So if we play 2 cards this turn, Tam, Darius will re-ready itself, which there's a world where you can move him back to your base to keep him a little safer, because you would be doing that anyway when you get attacked into. Falling Stars coming in, though.
Yeah.
So the question...
what do we pick? There's so many things. Obviously, the -1 damaged
Hopeful.
unit.
Yeah, the Hopeful for sure.
And then probably just a Raven, because like it has the potential to get large. We don't want to trigger the Death Kneels.
Yeah, I mean, the tricky part here is because of the way that this card's worded, Tam, is that you don't actually have to pick your targets before AI Potu has the chance to respond with any sort of things. So the question here is, like, if you tried to play 2 spells in between this going off, you would save your Ravenbloom student because it would go to 4. But you have to make that decision if you play those 2 cards before the choice is even made of these Falling Stars. And it looks like because we passed priority, we're going to lose the Hopeful and also the Ravenbloom student. Makes a lot of sense. And then our own Ravenbloom student is going to get +2.
Oh, and I love this play. We've played a second card this turn, so Darius is going to retreat back to clear get off of the battlefield, so that these more powerful spells that shoot units at battlefields is going to work. But it looks like Hextech potentially coming in to save the day. But if we Hextech this, there's a ready Kaisa waiting in the wings.
And we know
that play.
And based off of how we played the turn previously, we know that they're sitting on a Hextech Ray. It finally does get used here. We lose the Ravenbloom, but just like you said, I think the Kaisa is finally going to go in for the swing because it feels a little safer. Take the Conquer, take the point, take the draw. And we finally got use out of it because we did show restraint. We played a little slower as AI. And then because I think we drew into that 2-drop as well, we're like, yeah, man, I'll play down this guy. Replace the units on the board. Passing it back to Potu with only 2 little guys.
With 2 runes up and ready.
Yeah.
Saying that like the same play that you could make as you try to push back on me on the play could also happen depending on the texture of your hand.
I'm trying to scroll up and look at all the spells that these decks are playing to like that Darius play of like moving it back to the base. How much did it actually matter? Like how many of these spells only pick things at battlefields? And I think the biggest one I see here is just the Void Seeker. As well as the Hextech Ray. So like the idea is that if you move it back, the Hextech Rays and the Void Seekers cannot choose that Darius as long as it's back here. You must use something like a Falling Stars or like a Smokescreen into a Falling Stars, something like that, which is way safer, right? Exactly the reward that we got for keeping it on the board for an extra turn and playing 2 spells.
Yeah, and I think like the big thing here is if it was the Falling Star or some sort of some sort of battlefield trick into combat, we were just gonna retreat the Darius anyways. So why not just like leave him at home and have more agency of, do I want to fight over this base or the other base? Because holding versus conquering is kind of doesn't matter on
in the middle of the game
as long as you just get the points.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's going to be the biggest downside that we're seeing so far is like I really like the amount of restraint that we're showing here for AI, but I mean look at the rune situation here, Tam. Like it's 6 runes to Potu's 8 because of how much we've recycled as AI, because they went first. So like yes, they get to channel an extra bonus one, but now we're finally seeing a little bit more of the recycle coming through from Potu as we have now accelerated this Kaisa champion unit of our own, took the free Conquer onto the Reaver's Row, which is very good safety when it comes to keeping this Kaisa alive, because if you attack into it, I just get to bring it back. If not, you have to waste a removal spell that deals 4 to my Kaisa. But the retreat coming in on that Kaisa champion unit means a lot. When the Void Seeker came in, that Void Seeker was going to be enough to kill it, but Retreat not only saves the Kaisa, adds it back to our hand, it also channels us a rune because we were the owner of the card.
Man, a lot of action happened on that turn, and then again, because of that early aggression that we saw from Potu, it is we are falling behind points wise if we keep having turns like this over and over and over again. Which being able to retreat that Kaisa back to then push back out is kind of the way to go. Love Progress Day. One of my top 5 cards of the game.
I mean, it makes sense here, right? I mean, the reason I feel like we lost last game was because we were in that top deck scenario, and spoiler alert, Potu was better at top decking. Why not play a spell in this scenario where you do kind of feel like you're doing okay to refresh your hand, still have 3 runes ready, and when we play the second unit, again, the Darius is going to gain the 2 might, ready itself, and we can immediately pull it right back once again. But this is where I'm starting to see the downside of doing this over and over again, Tam, is we are just not ahead on the gaining points, right?
Yeah.
This is now AI catching up to 5 instead of on the next turn as we pass back to Potu. We could see Potu go to 7 this turn.
Yeah, go to 7, and although AI's offensive capabilities to take that back and stop a hold is very high, they're still at 7, and we have to like stop the hold and then make a hold happen for us to go from 7 to the winning point of 8.
Yeah, and our own Kaisa got to stay alive because of the Reaver's Row effect. So we could swing it again immediately into that Reaver's Row that's unoccupied because AI took their unit away from it, get a free draw again, and go up to 6, now in lethal range next turn, which is where we were going to be anyway, as we're going to see it. We're going to pay 10, recycle 4, and use our sideboarded copy of Time Warp, which is not what it's called in this game, but it says, after this one, Tam, I'm going to take another turn.
This is huge.
This is
Why
massive.
Why didn't we move the Yordle, do you think?
Because, Tam,
the point.
because we're going to get the scored point anyway to go to 7 here from holding on to the Reaver's Row because we didn't give our opponent a turn. We're going to go to 7 from the Kaisa staying on that battlefield. Now, because we've held that point, our only goal we have to do this game now is to either hold one more point or take over this battlefield right now.
This is massive.
It's huge.
This is huge.
It's massive.
You just move the Yordle, and it could just be game over.
Darius hitting the board right now. It's the first card of the turn, so it will come in tapped or exhausted. But because we've started over an entirely new turn, you can kind of see the smile on AI's face. As soon as we play a second card for our turn right now, which could just be a removal spell.
Yeah, which it is. Here's the Falling Sky coming in.
Yep, it'll deal 3 there.
And -3 to the Darius. Who cares? We just move the Yordle in and move the Yordle and the Darius and be like, hey.
You move them both up, and you go. Anything? You have to answer 9 might worth of stuff, and he goes, yeah, man. You know that there's nothing in these decks that deal with 9 might. Game over, and the match going to Potu here with a crazy sideboard card.
That was so sick. That was so sick. It's incredible. That was so awesome.
Time Warp. It is called Time Warp. I was right. Yeah, Time Warp. 10 energy, 4 recycle costs that have to be blue. Take a turn after this one, and then you banish the card. And yeah, spoiler alert, it's in their sideboard.
What a great top 8 going to Potu. That was dope. That was dope. But there's so much more game to be played as we move on. We got 2 more rounds that we're covering here on the stream and on the YouTube videos live tonight. So if you like this and you want to support, please check out Riftbound Ramblings. A link to that will be in the description down below. Or if you're live right now, you're inclined, please go and go join Barrett's stream and enjoy the commentary from that perspective, I guess. As we move on, man.
Spoiler alert, Tam. Me pressing the go live button was strictly because it will save it onto my YouTube forever, and I didn't have to make a video to do it.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, I've hit the record button. Yo, what up? We're into top 4. Another mirror match here. If you saw yesterday's video for my VOD Frogs, or if you're watching live the video that we just recorded, we've got Master Yi versus Master Yi, and it looks like we've got some fun being played. For everybody at home, this is the Beijing regional happening over in China. And so we can't read any cards, we can't read any names, but we'll do our best to cast where we can. Looks like we played at the same battlefields.
Yeah,
here,
double
Barry.
Dreaming Tree coming here, which we talked a lot about last week. But this one is the first time you pick a friendly unit here with a spell, you draw a card. So both of these players, obviously having the body domain and calm domain tricks, like on guard or discipline, that you can kind of like protect your units, but you will get a bonus if you pick a unit that you're or that you have on a battlefield already. So it works out. This mirror match is going to be a little weird, of course. We've talked about this in the past of like the Master Yi that gets on the battlefield first feels like they have a crazy advantage.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Especially as we look at the hand texture
Yeah.
here. 2 charms in one hand, things like Zonya's Hourglass in the other. Definitely a lot of choices to be made of like what is going to get me through the early game into the late game to capture and then hold these battlefields.
it's great because I think in this mirror match the charms go a long way because it's not just about if you can get on the battlefield first, you can play the charms to force your opponent into being the attacker when you get such benefit of being a defender, but they also function as a way of coming back and getting onto the battlefield because your charms can still move your opponent's units away from a battlefield so that you can come in and now become the defender of when you now have control of the battlefield. So the charms go a long way, I think, in this matchup. But as we of course know, for every charm there's also a defy.
Yeah.
And so you never know what might happen. But our left Yi that we don't really have names for. Sorry, that we don't read Chinese. They get to go first, and they immediately drop down a 2-drop with that Clockwork Keeper, and immediately rebuttal on the other side. We have the Shield Poro coming down, which is better when defending, but because we had a 2-drop going first for the left Master Yi, we're going to be able to get on the battlefield first.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how I like this Clockwork Keeper. Feels like I always draw it very early, and I never want to recycle the rune to like redraw the card. It's not worth the loss of tempo. I really like Shield Poro significantly better, but if you follow it up with a Pit Rookie just to buff it, then hey, it feels the same way. And as that charm comes in, alluring that Shield Poro over, running it in, demanding that a showdown happens.
It's already looking
no
incredibly
units.
rough.
No units over on right Yi's side. 2 units on left Yi.
Yeah, like this is where it becomes really bad, right? Because this early on in the game, we're not really playing anything that has Accelerate or comes in ready. So, see, here's a Clockwork Keeper. We are paying the recycle cost for Toad-Tan. We are going to draw a bonus card. And then that first mate is about the closest we can get right here to being able to get on a battlefield. This is a good recovery for sure. Being able to get on one battlefield, although it took most of our resources, it means that we're kind of on equal footing aside from not having a buff on our Clockwork Keeper, but now that Pit Rookie is going to have to think twice before it tries to go to a battlefield of its own.
Just drawn up, keeping the score pretty even. Snapvine as more onboard removal, and we could play it if we really desperately needed to, but losing the tempo rune-wise, I don't know if it's necessarily that great.
I don't think you feel too bad about it because we've already now seen the right Yi play quite a bit of their own recycling, so you probably can like keep up the aggression. But instead, the aggressive discipline here, which is going to give our Pit Rookie up to 4, which will make it tie because of the defending ability of the Master Yi Legend. But because we played the discipline on a unit that we have here at this battlefield, we will draw a card, and then also the discipline draws us another card.
Yeah, a lot of hand advantage here.
Boom.
And then on guard, getting us up and over. Hopefully not one of the cards that we drew, or else our right Yi is going to be feeling even worse about the position that they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Then combat will resolve, all of the units will heal, and so we're just keeping track, of course, but that Pit Rookie is then also going. We're gonna play a charm, and then that pit, what first mate? That's what it's called. The first mate is gonna fight the pit rookie and die again. 2 charms in a row, removing all of the units off of the right Master Yi has got to feel incredibly bad. But the story of the runes has now kind of made another reversal, right? We are down to 4 on the left Yi, which means it's impossible to play our champion unit next turn, but we know that there is still a snap vine that we could play because we'll be up at 6. So what do you do on the right side now? I don't know. I have no idea.
I think stabilization is just the name of the game. We've got the hourglass. We've got a 4-drop. It might be a not Kaisa, but
Kiana.
Kiana, thank you.
I always know which one you want to say.
That it could possibly hit the board, and our goal here is we just need sticking power. We need units to actually play the game with, and Left Yi has just done such an incredible job of clearing the board over and over and over again. And so Hourglass plus Kiana says that Snapvine is not very potent. Also, Snapvine only attacks things at battlefields.
Yeah, correct.
You can add a battlefield, which, hey, the right Yi, he's not controlling any.
We haven't been on those very much at all this game. Actually, only once based off of the score. So yeah, I would agree with you. But I mean, it's just, again, it's the tale of 2 charms right here. Double charm on the left side, or left Yi. This game has very much set the pace, and we must have a judge call of some sort. But we have the power to fast forward because we are in the future. Yeah, I think it's going to be so hard. I think it is. Someone was telling me the other day, and you can maybe attest to this, but it's like, currently in Set 1 Riftbound, there is a lot of disparity on how quickly you fall behind in a matchup, and it feels like there's really no way of getting back in sometimes. I would almost make the note that as we've passed back now and we hold twice going to 5 while our opponent is at 1 score, yes, the Zhonya's Hourglass plus the Kiana is very, very good, but your opponent is so far ahead point-wise, it feels like this game is just kind of lost. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I certainly agree with that, but it's not like a 100-0.
Did we just peep a triple Snapvine in hand?
Okay, you know what? I rescind my statement.
Maybe it is over.
We will talk about it a little bit. That's too much removal. But there is this like this world where like it does feel like 99-0, but that there's not a lot of top decks in our game that it feels like we play it and it swings everything back in the other direction, and it goes if you don't have some sort of board state. And so with the amount of 1-for-1 trading that the game currently has, as we look at this Snapvine of like a Master Yi touches the board, has accelerate, goes to a battlefield, I'm down to trade my Snapvine for your champion. Okay, what do you do? I still have things on the battlefield, things available to me. You don't. What does that look like? It's just tough. Retreating back is so interesting.
I think it's smart. I mean, let's talk about the scenario that we're in. Our hand says that we have triple Snapvine and a White Flame Protector. Either we wait long enough to play the Snapvine or the White Flame Protector so that our units that we kept alive can get +8 might and take over whatever right Yi plays, or you bait your opponent to taking over battlefields for them to claw back into the game point-wise, and because you left your units to take over the battlefields back at home, you play a Snapvine at home, kill off anything that goes to a base, basically, especially like this Kiana, kill the unit immediately, get the value off of the Zhonya's Hourglass, easily just go back to the base, because regardless, Tam, we can only score 2 points a turn. We got our 2 points from holding. Yeah. This is just the safest win more play, as we are going to slam our champion. Like, this is the one downside, right? This Master Yi is a little too big for Snapvine to deal with, at least on play.
It's not. It's 6.
Oh, you're right. And Snapvine's also 6. Never mind. They just trade.
At 6,
Yeah.
they're just going to trade. I'm so down to trade to get rid of your Master Yi. I'm
Yeah,
so in.
but remember, the value's on the other side of the board, at least in that scenario. Because, yes, we're now up to 3 points for right Yi, but the Zhonya's Hourglass is way big. Because it's not just trade Snapvine anymore. It's actually lose Snapvine. Your opponent gets to keep their Yi. So do you pick the Kiana? But if you pick the Kiana, you got to recycle a bonus. And again, the Zhonya's Hourglass will keep it alive.
Yeah. I think this is a super fair spot. I like the retreat. I officially like the retreat now because at least we get to keep our units alive. The thing that Right Yi has just not had the privilege of having. We saw the writing on the wall. The Kiana plus Master Yi coming in was going to be the idea. And it looks like I think we have a White Flame coming in down on our own, like you said.
This is the better play, right?
Absolutely love it.
It's not just I don't have to play a Snapvine to just trade with this Master Yi. This is my best answer to your champion unit, which again we've talked about earlier today. Most of these decks are only playing one copy of their champion units in their deck, and now we have an 8 might unit at home for next turn. Still take this battlefield. You give the 1 back to Kiana, but you went to 6, Tam, which means we are in lethal range of the game. If you not only have to deal with my defender on this other battlefield, but I have a 8-drop ready to go, and the Snapvines are still in your hand for future turns.
Yeah, and with Right Yi only being at 4 here, the onus is on him to keep us off of these aggressive points. And with every turn presenting checkmate, you have to be playing perfect, and you have to draw the perfect cards at the right time. And we've got so many body runes to just Snapvine after Snapvine after Snapvine over and over and over again.
Yeah, luckily we still have that Master Yi unit because of the Zhonya's Hourglass. We are going to swing into that Clockwork Keeper. It'll get the +2 because of the Master Yi Legend ability going to 4, and it has a buff, so it'll actually go up to 5, but that's not 6. So the Master Yi, no hand tricks as we completely tapped out for that White Flame Protector. Makes sense. Safe attack, takes the Conquer, goes to 5. And now we have control over both, right? Like, I mean, we have both right now, and we haven't used a single rune. This is really the turning point. What do we have in our hand to keep our units alive? You're staring across a Pit Rookie and a White Flame Protector, which in their current capacity is not lethal. But we know that, like, even a single Snapvine could be game.
Yeah, it's that, and, like, we have to figure out how to put... Oh, love the Pit Rookie play.
That's good.
Here. We are not allowed to put this Pit Rookie up at the battlefield to defend, or else we lose the Master Yi Legend ability. If you are defending alone, you get this bonus. Second Pit Rookie coming in, so huge,
pretty good.
so huge. Getting as much value out of this defending spot as possible. But at the same time, even if we hold here,
we need a charm.
Giving Left Yi 2 full turns.
Playing a bunch of units is cool. If you charm to that White Flame Protector and pull it up to fight my Master Yi that gets +2 defending, and we played the buff on it, that would have been massive. But again, we didn't have the charms. Our opponent did at the beginning of the game, which set the pace of this game very much so. And again, we only went up to 5 points, so like we're not in lethal range again. Like it's 2 turns minimum before Right Yi can win the game, and we are constantly afraid of the question of, can Left Yi just win on the spot? The buffs are going to help for sure, Tam. I mean, it means the Snapvine no longer just trades for that Yi anymore. The Snapvine can pick the Kiana, but it's going to cost that bonus deflect cost. So now it's a real choice, right? Like,
and because we've got the other units sitting in Right Yi's base, if we trades are not really an option because we just go recapture that base back again. Yes, we have our own White Flame and our own Pit Rookie, but if we are losing these resources and losing these units to fight back against these bases or the battlefields over and over again, where does it actually leave us? It really feels like there's a chance that Right Yi has crawled his way back, and I think it was all off the back of that Zhonya's Hourglass saying that your removal didn't actually remove. You traded not 1 for 1, but 1 for 0. I didn't lose anything.
And Zhonya's Hourglass is such high value, right? Because it only costs 2. And remember, it can also be played as a hitting card if you ever do have a battlefield and have control, but it's just good enough always as a 2-drop gear. But we are going to be seeing an exchange of some... Oh, what did we even play? I don't even know what that card is.
We played the on
Oh, it's a
the
Snapvine. It's a Snapvine.
Snapvine, and then we are on guarding
Picking
our
the Kiana, probably.
yes
Yeah.
to give it the +2 to bring it from 5 up to 7. They fight each other in here. We redraw the card because of the battlefield, and then you recycled 3 runes back. That might have been the sweeping play to bring it back because there's so few runes on left Yi's side.
And remember, Dreaming Tree, we even got a bonus draw when we played the On Guard on our unit.
True.
Tam, all of a sudden, I'm kind of starting to agree with you. I thought the Snapvines were going to be good enough. The double pit rookie play was just enough to make both of these battlefields a little harder for this lefty to get. We had to recycle so much. We're down to 5, Tam, and only 3 of them are ready. We might have to join attack here just to get over one of these. But remember, the Snapvine damage does stay. So the damage-wise...
explain that to me.
Yeah, so damage outside of showdowns or combats, basically, retain there. So because Snapvine says, hey, we're going to fight right now, they will deal their damage to each other in the sense of, like, dealing damage. So the Snapvine still dies, of course, but Kiana still takes 6.
Because you never entered a showdown officially.
Correct. We did not enter a showdown. We fought because a card said to do so. So, swinging even, ready? Even if we just attacked with this pit rookie, it would go up to, we're off by 1 if we attacked with the pit rookie alone. But this white flame is going to give the +2 to the Kiana, going to 4, 5, 6. The On Guard, I believe, lasts for the turn, so it's a 6. So it's on an 8.
We trading? What's
It
happening?
is just a trade. It is going to be just a trade because of the Kiana. Oh my gosh.
Nah, we just have another On Guard. Actually,
another
On Guard.
Yeah, but I think
Crazy.
it's still taking too much damage. I think we already did that draw. I don't think we get to do that, but it says first time.
First time.
Yeah.
Was
I think that
turn not. Yeah.
was not
that
allowed.
Is a bonus draw. Yikes.
We might see a judge call.
And we snapped that card nice and
Oh,
quick.
we've lost the HUD.
The graphic. And there it is. We figure it out. As we fast forwarded time. Look at these casters. Look at the orange booth. We had a blue booth last time. I don't know which one I like more. Bear, which one do you think you like more?
I think I like the blue booth more. This orange is a little poppy for me. Ready? I think the Riftbound orange in this ready? It's crazy because we play Riftbound and Universes, which are doing these orange and blues. Very, very funny. I think I like the blue more because I think the orange is a very nice pop color. Like, blue to me is not a very good accent. It's good as a base. But that's, that's my color theory for you.
I appreciate it. Unsure what the final ruling was, as we don't know
the ruling.
We don't know the ruling, and we can't hear the casters, right?
Correct. But I think what's ending up happening, and so you ready? The On Guard, I thought because it still had taken 6, it taking an additional 8, like there's no way this Kiana got up to 14, you know? And it had to get to 15 to live. So it still dies. Like you said, we're trading. But
yeah,
through the judge call and everything else, of course, it leaves the battlefield wide open for this pit rookie to sneak in and grab it. But I think regardless of throughout all of that exchange with the double On Guard and trying to do all these extra stuff, right? This is great for getting to 7 points. But I think it's just lethal. It's not lethal this turn because, again, we're only at 5. But remember, that Master Yi, that champion unit, has ganking. So, it not only has the buff on it, but we got a bunch of resources out of left Yi because of that deflect coming in clutch against that Snapvine, responded with the On Guard. That play was immaculate. That was incredible. This remaining 3 runes, that we're tapping 2 right now to play a Shield Poro, is kind of really a nothing. Because next turn we'll go to 6 because of the hold. The Yi can swing over, very easily win that exchange. Go to 7, and now we can move another unit up to have priority of just the defensive ability of what Master Yi wants, including the Shield Poro. And all of a sudden a 180 really has happened in this game, Tam. And I didn't think it was going to happen.
Here's the play I think Here's my play. You ready?
Yeah.
I think we move the Master Yi over.
Yep.
We fight. We win that battlefield.
Load everything.
I then move everything up.
Sure.
Because if we do the math, 2 on the rookie, 2 on the rookie, 3 on the Poro.
Is
And then we
better.
just play another person at either base and say, hey, you got to figure out how to deal with both of them.
Yeah,
Don't
we're even
say,
just
White
playing.
Flame is the answer.
We could have just played the White Flame at the battlefield, like you said. Like you.
Yeah.
You know what I haven't seen this entire tournament that I wanted to talk about with you is like, we started watching this and we haven't seen a single person play a unit on a battlefield that they have control over. Not a single one has done it.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I don't know, Tam. But
and man, also we opted not to use the Master Yi. I think we're just like
You ready?
really valuing.
This is an even better play, I think, even because again, all you have to do is win by holding. I don't think it's necessarily just what we said, but like this Master Yi is ready. We could just bring it back to base. Protect itself from snap vines. Protect itself. Make your opponent have the third charm. But instead, we're just going to hold it. We're going to go to 7, and you are now asking left Yi to do a double conquer turn on only 7 runes. I don't think we're gonna do it. I know it was a good card, Tim. I knew we drew a good one, but it's not good enough offensively. we can talk about the rune prison if you want to talk about the rune prison.
Yeah. Yo, okay, so hold up. I played Leona for the first time this week.
It's sick, right?
Holy shit, that might be my character.
She's sick, dude.
If next set we get even like
a little bit
one
more
stun card,
a little bit more.
I'm so in.
Snapvine coming in.
Says we get to kill both of these units, but
no.
then I don't know how we take away this. Snapvine says we get to kill a Poro, and then we use the Rune Prison. Oh, we don't have the resources. We do have the resources. We've got two ready. We could Rune Prison the Master Yi. It doesn't deal damage to us. Oh, but
we don't have an attacker.
We don't do enough damage to it.
We don't do enough damage to it. That's the thing about stun, right? Stun is great when you're using it as like a defensive trick, Tam. It's so good when you use it as offensively, though. We didn't have enough units to swing with anyway. We couldn't get the Master Yi. You win with a hold point. So game 1, a reversal of fates that I didn't think was going to happen after the strong start that left Yi had. But right Yi wins the game.
Yeah, that was dope. It
was cool. I can't believe I'm literally eating my words right now of how far behind we were. It was 1-5 essentially, Tam. And we got back into the game, and I've got to agree with you. The Zhonya's Hourglass seemed like it put in way more work than the double charm play that came through from the left side.
Yeah, it also might have been like, did we use the charm too early?
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to talk about.
If we had waited and been like, I'm currently the defender here. I don't need to bring up your 2-drop units. I need to be the defender and bring up your big units. And like that's what a neat hand.
It's a little expensive for my taste.
It's so tough because there currently is no shuffling in Riftbound.
Yeah, so when you recycle cards and put them on the bottom, they're on the bottom.
Like this White Flame could be the make or break of how the game goes. We know the game is gonna go long because of how the mirror match works. Do I hold this White Flame knowing that I'm gonna get to the spot, and then what do I? Left Yi draws the 2 cards that I imagine right Yi was thinking about putting back. Of the Kiana and the White Flame. That's so funny.
And their hand is even an even worse curve. So we're going to have a different tail here that if we don't top deck like a 2-drop or a 3-drop even, Lefty is going to play nothing on turn 1 of the game. Oh, we drew a Poro. We're nuts. We're absolutely nuts.
We're sick with it. This is why we're in top 4 for sure.
And,
these draws like this.
And yeah, they went first. And again, we have the Obelisk of Power in play again. So going second, we're actually going to have 4 runes. Which is huge because it actually means you can turn 1 Kiana. Which is what we had, man. So you ready?
Huge.
The mulligans post knowing the battlefields is huge in this scenario because of Obelisk of Power, right? Like that extra rune says that this 4-drop is actually the first thing we get to do this game, and this is such a crazy start because as I look at the other side, yes, we're at 5. But that Snapvine doesn't do anything for us right now on curve because there's no units at any battlefields.
Yeah. Well, now there is. We could Snapvine our. I'm sorry.
It's true. By the way, the other
we did get
battlefield
the-
for everybody, this is the
Go ahead.
Grove of the God Willow. So when you hold here, extra benefit, you get to draw a card. So we're gonna try and take. We're gonna
That's
fight over
perfect
this
for
one
with this
all
card.
game. We're gonna fight over this one all game.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, 5 energy to play with, and I think we might just be passing. Yeah, I mean, if your only on-curve play right now is that Snapvine, or like, what else do you do? We're hopefully thinking our defensive tricks are maybe enough, but I mean, as you go pass back and you stare at a Snapvine over on the other side of the board, you could Snapvine your opponent's only target. Oh, okay, never mind. We'll take the Pit Rookie. I think this is fine too.
There was a Kiana on in Lefty's hand, yes? We could have just played the Kiana knowing that, like, unless we're holding up these resources for some amount of, like, a bluff spell play.
It means we
or
can't play the Rune Prison. We're going to see the Rune Prison right here on the attack play. Because, you ready? Right Yi didn't play a Snapvine. Snapvine would have helped us. But we might have gotten Rune Prison anyway. Rune Prison does work because they fight each other. Instead, what's going to happen is we're going to attack with this Kiana, which is at 5 power now, or 5 might, against this Poro that is going to have 2, 3, 4, 5 because of Yi, which means they're going to trade unless we play some tricks here. Offensively, you're going to play the first trick because you don't want to tie. We're going to play it on guard. It's going to give it +2. And then we're going to pay our 2. Oh, never mind. We're going to discipline. We have enough for both, to be honest. This gives us another 2. You feed out another discipline, and you go, wow, I really want to keep my unit alive. How about I pay a bonus 2? No, we're going to let it go?
So interesting.
I think you ruined Prison this, man. You got everything out of your opponent's hand, and you're not going to kill the Kiana. You're just going to send it back.
I think the reason we're not is because of the deflect. I think the deflect is
it's so expensive.
So much.
I think you're right.
It's 2, and then the recycle. It's gonna put us behind, and we already went second. I can't go down, have less runes. That's crazy.
And played nothing. Remember, we played nothing on our turn. We had something else though. Was that on guard? Yep, we have it on guard.
It's on guard,
which is good. It will still match. I think you're down to match. Right? Does that math?
With
it's like 9 to 9 or something like that.
It was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It should have been 9.
I thought it was 9 to 9. I missed one then somewhere. Shield Poro's 2, defending 3, 4, 5 from Yi, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Did we double double discipline on left Yi and right Yi side?
No, it was it was
discipline on the right, discipline
on guard on the left. And they're all the same. They're all still just +2s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the math was matching because of the buff, right? We had the buff from the Pit Rookie. But okay, regardless, I guess we're wrong, and I'm just missing a number somewhere. And now the Kiana will come down, which is still going to recycle Swine because we got rid of our opponent's Kiana. That deflect or the Rune Prison that we have is going to be a lot more beneficial. I bet you probably the Snapvine comes down here, kills off that Poro, and then we can move the Pit Rookie up to the other battlefield, and we can score 2 to kind of tie back up here. But there could be a Rune Prison that gets played on the Snapvine as its effect is on the stack, so the Snapvine wouldn't actually deal any combat damage.
Yeah, it's certainly a spot to be in. And again, we saw the point difference not necessarily... it didn't matter.
It didn't. They came back. Right? I was completely wrong.
And so when we talk about, like, do I need to fight over these battlefields, it feels good to sit at this battlefield, especially this battlefield that is going to let you constantly redraw cards. And so I feel like this aggressive play does make sense, and which is why we're not going to see that same play pattern that we saw last time. I think fighting over this battlefield makes sense because we want to hold it.
Yeah, it has that impactful ability.
We want our rival to not hold it. or else they will snowball abilities and find something to end the game.
Yeah, so that Snapvine did come down, and we let it go, holding onto this rune prison forever, which is kind of a scary scenario to be in, Tam, because the longer you hold onto that rune prison, the longer opportunity you have for your opponent to draw a defy for it, or using it and holding onto it for the ideal position when your opponent taps out and they can't defy it. So, I mean, it's either or. We'll have to see, but I think that rune prison is going to tell a lot of the story of this game because we know that they're holding onto it forever. But we play our own Snapvine here, and there's a rune prison on the other side of the table. So we can... So the ability of the Snapvine is on the stack. We have triggered it. You are allowed to play reactions back and forth over and over, yada yada, before it resolves. As long as rune prison has, as they pull it up, as long as it has reaction timing, which I guess is something I didn't consider. If this side only has action timing, we don't get to do it. It does only have action timing. That's crazy.
Huh.
So
play
you
on
don't
your turn or in showdown.
showdowns. This is not a showdown.
It's a fight.
It's a fight. So I think that's exactly what's happening here.
To each other.
The judge call is happening that he thought he could rune prison the Snapvine, but it is just a freebie. There's a lot of judge calls in this one.
As the casters come back and explain what's going on.
That's true.
Qiyana moving up to that open battlefield. The battlefield we haven't really been scoring at very much, as it's blank. Interesting to not go fight over the other one, because that's the one that says when I hold, I get my thing. But it looks like...
I think it's the bait battlefield, right? You want your rival to go there. You want your opponent to go there, and maybe you get a benefit of a hold from the other one and really accelerate the point scoring game, right? Like, I mean, that's what I can only imagine on why the choice to go there. We've kind of showed our hand, though. I think this is really rough for this game specifically. Left Yi knows that right Yi is holding on to a rune prison. So we have to completely tailor what we're going to do around them knowing that you have it.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Love the first mate play to ready the Snapvine to move up to the battlefield as we take over. Again, Lefty taking a massive point lead, 4-1, and maybe not a ton of resources available for Lefty, but how much can we do to combat with Right Yi?
This is eerie similar to the first game in the point score.
From here, it looks like we're playing all of these playing Master Yi out himself. Right Yi being the first one this time to play it out rather than, I believe, Left Yi did last time.
I don't think Left Yi ever played their champion unit last game. Because remember, they kept recycling so much because of those early charms. They never even hit the board where they could do it. But yeah, here comes the double swing. Is that what just happened? Yeah, we did the... it went so fast. We did the double swing into it losing. What happened?
No. That Snapvine is for Right Yi.
I understand. And then they killed off the Yi.
They killed the Master Yi.
Okay, I understand.
Which, man, I think I would have just traded with the Snapvine and then gone with the Yi. But I guess what battle tricks would we have?
We can't trade with the Snapvine, remember? Because as the defender, they get +2 might.
Oh, you're so right. I would have gotten absolutely got. I would have moved up my Snapvine and be like, "Let's trade," and he'd have been like, "No." And I would have lost this top 8 battle right then and there.
Good White Flame Protector here, though. On the other side, this is something we didn't see last game, that Lefty being in this position to play their big unit first, like the 8-drop specifically, not the Master Yi champion unit, still having theirs in their champion zone for later. We got to play the White Flame Protector. We finally saw it, Tam. They played with the White Flame Protector on the base that the Qiyana was at, so we could move the Qiyana back to home, and we show, I don't have it, you're just going to hold it, and holding wins the game, going to 8. Game 2 to Lefty, which means we get a game 3.
Yeah, it would do the Hourglass just one turn too late, right?
Yeah.
Like, be able to play the Hourglass and then bring either of those units back to base could have been a thing that, like, push and contest again, but with this time, as we saw, these Lefty doing the game plan, right? Get ahead, stay ahead. not spending all of these runes to get behind curve wave with our runes, but really being able to stabilize and hold it.
Sorry, I'm looking up this battlefield, and I have no idea what that one looks like.
I think it's just the ganking battlefield.
Is it? Hmm? I don't know why I thought
I have to look it up.
Is it the ganking one? I can't tell, man. I can't even tell what its art is. I'm blind. But
there's a mountain like right in the middle.
That's a mountain.
Windswept hillock. It's like there's like a mountain and then a chateau.
That's what that is?
Right side.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think that tree was purple. Okay, yeah, units here have ganking, which is pretty good when it comes to going back and forth. But again, as the other Willow is hitting the board, that is once again the battlefield we will be fighting over. I can only imagine. But the ganking could be a unique scenario where one of these players could choose to go to it sooner, and if it's left uncontested, you have additional backup support from your other units that you put there previously. So we'll have to see how it goes. But Right E being able to go first this game, as you can already kind of start seeing, their score for the game is going up faster than the opponents. This is kind of like a different tale of what we saw going on because Left E went first both games for the first two. So, but the Wielder of Water coming down and the Kiana coming down early was pretty good, and the first turn play was instead of Zonia's Hourglass, so we could see that be the reason why Left E wins this game because of how impactful that Hourglass was for the right player in game one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I spotted another Hourglass in the right E as well. So it's going to be, do I put this Hourglass down now? Because I'm pretty sure you're forced to trigger the Hourglass when it happens.
You have to. Yeah, you have to do it. As far as I'm aware, if two units die at once, though, you do get to pick which one you get to save. But it is the first opportunity, I believe, you have to save a thing.
Yeah.
Because it says, like, the next time. But I told you that it got eroded, so it does have its wording a little bit different.
My question here, right, is, like, if the unit that we don't care about is, like, this Shield Poro dies, and I've got things like Snapvine or whatever, recalling the Poro feels significantly worse than recalling something like the Snapvine or even the Master Yi, or a Kiana that we see on the left side. And so, ton more units on right Yi's board, but with an Hourglass of our own, we're gonna start trading here, and Kiana feels like a more high impact unit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. So, and of course we'll see it. Yeah, it matters a lot more when your Zonia's Hourglass is going to get used on a unit that matters a lot more, instead of it being something like a pit rookie that could just die right here. But I think regardless of how it's going to go, you are fighting against double battlefields in control of your opponent. As the attacker of Master Yi is when you're at your weakest, and you're against a Master Yi, which is when they're at their strongest, which is defending. So this Kiana is pretty vulnerable right now, so we're going to need some help from hand if we want to even get on the board.
The charm in the hand of our left Yi, we might be seeing the significantly weaker charm ability, which is send one of these.
Yo, you are allowed to do this. This is kind of cool.
Put it
anywhere.
Excuse me? You can move it anywhere?
Yeah, so
you give it ganking?
You can move it anywhere that it legally could go. And so the point is, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I gotta look it up. I have to read the words off of Charm. I'm scrolling. I apologize. Charm says, it's getting defied, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so the Charm says you could just, it is literally 4 words. Move an enemy unit.
Yeah.
That's it. So.
Can we talk about the devastation that just happened, though? So we played the Charm. It got defied. And we're sitting here with 5 body runes. And we are staring at our own Defiant hand.
And we
with
can't play.
No calm room to be found. So what an incredible turn that we could have had of Charm, defy, and still get my ability. You lose your defy, and then it's over. But it looks like play the
On Guard got played.
Not to save the pit rookie, or we're choosing not to with our Hourglass. Whoa.
Oh, okay. I didn't think
Unless
you could do that, but
coming in and Yeah, the judge is coming in and fixing it. There
Hey
it is.
man, yeah,
Okay,
you
cool,
got
cool,
to
cool,
save
cool,
that
cool.
one. But what we saw on the other side with the left Yee's hourglass, both of the units died at once, the Kiana and the Poro. And he goes, I get to pick, right? And he goes, yeah, you get to pick. And he's like, obviously I'm going to save the Kiana. I'm not going to save this little dinky Poro. But yeah, the on guard was only enough for a trade, so you get their hourglass, and they have to save a pit rookie, and you get your hourglass used, but you get to save your Kiana, but you still didn't get on a battlefield, and we pass back as they hold going to 4. It's
4
gonna
to
be
0 is the same as 5 to 1 from our last game.
it's about to be 5 to 0.
And the boards are significantly worse as we are potentially going back to the caster's booth.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
not.
I mean those
I'll
words
spell
I know
overlay.
means judge call.
As we move a Poro up, play another pit rookie to make it a little bit tougher. This Poro now defends for 2, 3, 4, 5, which is, more might than left Yi has on board. Again, right Yi doing an incredible job of defending both of these battlefields completely and fully.
6 now, right? Because of the buff.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because of the buff, you're totally right.
That
Totally
shield, right? So it feels really good. And that's 6.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And here's the charm of your own. And once again, Tam, the devastating. You just even if you had a ready to rune, you don't have a green one, so you can't defy it. You must
Yeah.
force them to fight. I have a 6 might Poro because of defending versus your 4 might Kiana. And now you lost it. You offensively had to use your Zonia's Hourglass, and now on my turn, I'm making you defensively lose the unit that you saved with it as we pass back.
Why?
And sorry?
Now, why does Master Yi's ability work with Charm? It's right Yi's turn, and you charmed your guy into me.
Yeah.
Why does that work?
Because you are the one that came to the battlefield. So as long as you are the person approaching the battlefield that is already there, attacker and defender roles are assigned not by whose turn it is, it's by who moved where and based off of where you came from. So if you were already at the battlefield that now the showdown is occurring at, you are the defender, if you were already there. If you are the one that is going to the battlefield due to a move, which is what Charm does, that move qualifies you as the attacker because you were not formerly the holder of the battlefield.
Yeah, crazy play inside of these Master Yi decks. Devastating. With 3 cards in left Yi's hand. I wonder how many cards are in right Yi's hand. Looks like maybe a singular card left available to us. Resources are running thin, but 0 to 5 is a massive detriment. And it's probably going to go up to 0 to 6. Now it's looking like a big blowout game, for sure.
Yeah, it is a big reversal of fates as it just seems like every time a resource gets played by right Yi, that the left Yi obviously is playing as well in their deck. They're just getting played at a better time with better units on board and a better game state, so that the mileage that it gets is a little bit longer. Because I mean, I thought the Zoni's Hourglass was going to put in a lot more work this game, Tam, but when your opponent also still has one, and yours is getting a little bit better mileage because you already were on the battlefield, you had to use yours offensively because you were behind on the battlefield. It just seems like the snowball gets away even further as we now see a 7 to 0 point swing right now. Going for that's from the double hold. We drew a card. We're tapping all of our
drew a card
runes.
from holding the battlefield. So we went from 1 to now 3 cards. I believe we saw an hourglass, and it looks like Master Yi is going to be touching the board, coming out the champion unit.
Just an extra body, man.
Out of the champion zone. It makes sense. All we got to do from here is get both battlefields under control. If somehow this first mate and this Kiana do the job to clean it up, we've got pit rookies, we've got Master Yi's. I'm in. It makes total sense to me. And from here, I think we are about to hide us an hourglass that we have ripped off the top, saving even more units.
Yeah, sorry, I was still looking up the
Tough
Zoni's
spot.
Hourglass text. Yeah, it is worded a little differently, but it says if a friendly unit would die, you have to use it immediately because that's when the trigger happens. It's not like a choice; it's like a forced trigger kind of thing. It's not like a May. There's no May on it, so you must use it on the next
Yeah.
thing that dies. But yeah, I mean, you kind of look at each other and you stare. You look at your hand. I only have 8 runes at my disposal. 1 White Flame Protector isn't enough because you can only buff one of these units for +8. I think of Snapvine. Snapvine is maybe enough with a double swing. 3/7 is enough to kill the Poro. Our own Master Yi, that could help as well. If we could ready it as well, that'd be nuts, because you could attack and then it has ganking on its own, so you could like move it over to help as well. But I think the
My issue is I think that Master Yi is going to be trading with anything because of the right Yi's legend ability, right? So this is
yeah,
7. Why is this not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it is going to be for 6 because of the effect of wielder. Yeah, so it's literally just a trade, and then you have 7 might worth to swing into this Poro that gets up to 6. So it does stop the units on the board from getting the hold to win, but your opponent is still sitting on 3 units in their base. Even if this Poro dies, you kill the Kiana for the good run for your money, right? You take 1 point for the game, but this pit rookie is going to immediately die to the Master Yi for the double conquer win.
Yeah. I think the writing is on the walls, but we're playing the game out just as much as we can. Just this is everything that we wanted to have
Interesting.
happen. Oh, Snapvine.
Oh, we have
Snapvine. We'll fight the first mate.
We're nuts.
Man, just an absolute devastation.
Well, that works too. We just drew a better card. Yeah, White Flame Protector is probably a much easier way to get it done. But yeah, we got our bonus draw because you can't win off of only conquering one base. You have to conquer them both. But we do get to draw a card if you would go to 8, which we can't. So we play this White Flame that we just drew off of the top, giving +8 to one of these pit rookies, putting it to 10, which makes the 5 that this defending first mate is going to have is nowhere near to close. And with 1 readied resource, not nearly enough. And so that's game 3 and the match going to our right Master Yi, who's going to move on to the finals.
Who came back from an unbelievable detriment.
In game 1, yeah.
Crazy detriment. 1 to 5, almost 1 to 7, if I remember, and then crawled their way back into this match.
It was crazy good. Yeah, and I thought it was just over because of the double charm play I thought was so good early on in game 1 for the left Yi. But I think this Master Yi player just showing us that he can do the good stuff and is also playing the good cards. And that's the same Yi that we watched defeat that Victor in top 16. So, really showing that he can not just win the mirror match, but win against other decks in the format like Victor. But now he's going to have a run for his money because now as we move to finals, we have Kaisa versus Master Yi, the tail of the format right now. So we'll have to see how it goes.
I'm seeing on the screen Silver Scrapes plays as we move into the finals here of the match. But that's the end of this video. As we move on to Kaisa versus Master Yi, make sure you stick around for the next one. Make sure if you like the commentary, you check out Riftbound Ramblings, a link to the description, and for my VOD frogs, or you can click the title, the name in the title, to go drop him a sub. Would be very, very cool of you.
Why are they frogs, Tam?
Just rhymes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think VOD rhymes with frog.
It's the middle rhyme, right?
Yeah, the O, one letter.
The O. Yeah. Well, I've clicked the button. Yo, what up, everybody? welcome back to the finals here of the Beijing Riftbound regional, the second regional in Riftbound's history. I'm Tam, joined by Barrett, or Riftbound Ramblings. Make sure you check out his channel in the description down below. But with that said, Master Yi versus Kaisa, as we swap on over to our players. What are your thoughts here as we jump into it? Same finals as the last regional, if I remember correctly.
It is, yeah. Obviously, a little bit of evolution, not just on the Kaisa deck, but also a little bit on the Master Yi deck, on just the technology that they're playing with now, as it is still a format ever evolving, always trying to protect yourself when you are the one to beat, of course, and then you as the person who didn't win, the champion, adapting your deck and using some new tools that will help you defeat your opponent. But they are still rolling it off, of course, to see who goes first. I'm assuming maybe that graphic that we just saw means that Master Yi gets to go first here, which could be huge.
I think the roll was 8-7. So
I'm glad you saw.
Yeah. What does so Kai'Sa's the big bad of the format.
Yeah.
What does Master Yi have to do to win this matchup?
You need to, I think specifically your matchup gets significantly better in the post board. In the sideboard, you have access to the Unyielding Spirit, which is going to help you tremendously keep your little weenie units early on the board. But I think the idea is if you are going to play a unit on the board that is very tiny and easily removed, it needs to be trading at least 1-for-1 on the Kai'Sa's board, or in their hand, I should say, to eventually not slow down your rune acquisition so that you can play your higher mighted units on curve, because once you get above that 6 might range, you're pretty protected against most of single target removal from the Kai'Sa deck. And then you still have your combat tricks to keep you alive when they try to get you with the Dariuses or the Thousand-Tailed Watchers, right? But you have to get to those runes first. And while doing that, you can't just like give up the board state. So, not a single play here from the Kai'Sa player, but that can be a bait, because as you swing in with this little Clockwork Keeper, if there was any sort of, Void Seeker or Hextech Ray, you could have immediately lost your unit. But getting that first score matters a lot, and the Kiana's help as well. Although this one sets you back at least on a power, which is not what I said, is the key to success. The deflect goes a long way, as well as with 4 might. That's a good break point, because 4 might avoids the falling stars for a double KO on something else, and if they have to pick it twice, deflect does work twice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, Kiana's massive in this matchup then. I think finding Kiana this early is going to be huge, because it also gets around that Hextech Ray area, and in order for these Kai'Sa decks to deal with these 4 might units, they're normally stupefying and then shooting again. But every time you target the Kiana, it's deflect and then deflect for the stupefy, deflect for the kill. But Spirit Mother coming in, tying up the game, letting us bring in this temporary spirit to score, but not sticking around long enough to hold. So
yeah, it's actually
Spirit Mother early in the game just represents 1 free point essentially.
We've actually seen a lot of these Kai'Sa decks move the Sprite Mother to their sideboards, and they only bring them in specific matchups. But I think this is going to help a lot, because this will help deal 3 damage to the Kai'Sa, because the Sprite, or not the Kai'Sa, the Kiana, because it does 3 damage. So like a Stupefy here does say that you kill the Kiana in a trade, but it looks like we're just going to take it. It will take the 3. But as soon as that showdown resolves and combat's over, the Kiana heals it right back up. So that opportunity is now gone, because the Stupefy would have worked, and then we would have just had to pay for the 1 deflect cost. But instead, you said it was the key to the matchup. Here's a second Kiana, and if you didn't use a resource already on that first one, now it is starting to get a little bit of extra mileage. But Tam, we're seeing a different side of it. We are now out of body runes if we want to play any more cards that cost a body power.
Yeah, like this Snapfire that we see in hand, which costs 2. So if there is some sort of scary card off the top, like a Kai'Sa coming down out of the champion zone or even the hand to start threatening and trying to play this offensive capability, Snapfire I think is a really clean answer to that. And again, you got to rip 2 bodies off the top as we are sitting here nice and relaxed, very calm. Question for you though, what are your thoughts on playing the Kai'Sa that we played into our base up at the other battlefield, and then bringing the Clockwork Keeper home to just sit here with 2 Clockwork Keepers? Or do you think that playing it at the base to get the Conquer ability is just going to be more valuable in the matchup?
I think that was the first place I was going to go. I mean, like, we didn't even talk about it, right? But when we won that battle, when we won that trade there with the Sprite, like, we could have taken the trade instead, which we didn't. But because we didn't take the trade, we gave the Conquer ability. And I think having that access to the Conquer ability is pretty meaningful. And, this Clockwork Keeper is still, at least if it gets attacked into, is a 4 might unit, which is pretty much like that's exactly what we're seeing here. As we see the Kaisa champion unit get played from the zone, and then we immediately had to cleave it to give it Assault 3 to get over that Kiana. But because we didn't have to target the Kiana, we did get through the deflect ability and did get that Conquer off. So that's not bad. We even got our own Conquer ability, of course, on the draw, but I assume the reason we played in our base Tam is so that we can get that on-Conquer effect as we go back. But I think that's a pretty good counterplay. As the non-Master Yi deck, what we normally see, when we saw in the last match, you're allowed to put as many units as you want onto a battlefield. There's no reason not to, and that is a very
homies.
Yeah, that's a very good way to help you defend against these high overpowered damaging characters like, the White Flame Protectors or the ones that get buffed by them. Meanwhile, you as the Master Yi player still typically want to attack alone so that you're defending alone as well. So it's just going to be a little bit of extra combat math you have to deal with. And now this on-Conquer Kiana ability is going to be way harder to pull off. And even if you did end up winning the battle, they could just assign 4 of their damage to go to the Kiana, and you don't get the on-Conquer effect from the Kiana.
Yeah, this is interesting because we do still have this like Clockwork Keeper, trade out the Kiana, grab a card in hand or a rune if we wanted to, but it feels like that's not really progressing the game forward. Yeah, it gets us a point, it gets us closer to the victory, but we've seen other decks pull from the jaws of defeat. I think we skipped just a little bit. Looks like
ever so slightly.
Primal Strength.
Yep.
Comes
Plus
in
7 might.
Got
a
massive swing here, but again, no body to be seen. So again, the Snapvine play that we have to try and keep ourselves alive, not going to be available on the next one.
I still think that was a near perfect answer, at least for this scenario. I basically said, that 7 might that you overloaded onto that battlefield with the Kaisa plus the Sprite Mother was negated by a spell card, Tam. Your Kiana still gets to go through and do your thing. You still have to deal with the deflect on a later turn, but the Kaisa player, to do that play offensively, tapped completely out. You just play the Primal Strength at action speed or, on your main phase, give the +7, you're like, all right, this is a free swing. Get the on-Conquer effect. Because of the redraw, yes, we don't have any more body runes for later, and the Pit Rookie coming in for a bonus buff, I think you put on the Kiana every day of the week. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. This game is running away very quickly for the Master Yi deck. And Tam, this is typically not what happens. Usually it's pretty even on, but Yi's done a really good job at getting on the board, staying on the board, and having crazy good trades.
Yeah, this makes total sense. As we hide a card here, we have to imagine this is a Zhonya's, right? Like, what other green card could we possibly be hiding? Which means that if we do decide to go for this Kiana, I'm gonna snipe it out of the sky, use my Falling Stars twice, deflect, coming in to recycle 2 runes. It's just gonna go back to base. I think that we're going to sit here on this base over and over and over again. I think this Kiana is here for the rest of this game.
It's hard, too, because this is the Void Gate. You would think there would be an easier time getting rid of these units on that battlefield for the Kaisa deck, because your spells do 1 more.
Yeah.
But we're still really struggling, but instead it's going to start with a Stupefy. Okay, you still have to pay the extra power because of the deflect. This is exactly what we talked about, was not a very good trade at the beginning of this matchup, but because if you're going to target it again with something else here, it's going to be rough. I hope instead it's something like a Darius, because Darius would at least start a combat, but again, there's the hitting card there. We haven't even gotten to that.
Yeah, this is certainly tough. I think we've got the Darius in hand to make it happen, which normally would trade with Kiana's 4 might plus the buff plus 2 from Yi, but the Stupefy does turn it from 7 down to 6 with the +2 coming in from Darius, and he gets to come in ready because he sees himself as a second card. We can swing in nice and big and just run into whatever that hidden card is. And I think that just has to be the play that we have to do. We've got to get this Kiana off this board. It's too much of a threat to be left alive.
I'm setting myself up for failure in case that's not a Zhonya's Hourglass, because I think I remember seeing a couple of body decks playing another hidden card that exists in the format. And so we're going to find out really quick here, because if we lose control of this battlefield, we lose any hidden cards that we have there. So I've already preemptively looked up the card that this could be. If it is not a Zonia's Hourglass, okay, all right, thank you.
It's always the Hourglass.
It's always the Hourglass.
It's always the Hourglass.
But yeah, just like you said, normally it'd be a trade. Stupefy says that we actually win that fight, going up to 3 points now for the Kaisa player, but our Kiana will stay alive with the buff, by the way, because of the Zonia's Hourglass replacement effect.
I think this might be best case scenario for what Kaisa could do because of that Hourglass that was hidden there. We have to get the Hourglass off the field as soon as possible, and obviously Kiana's like the most detrimental piece on the board. But although the deflect is still active and working and doing its thing, we are winning the rune race. It's 6 runes over on Kaisa's side, only 1 active, versus as Master Yi, we're now up to 6, and I'm pretty sure Yi went first, but has recycled to significantly more than what Kaisa has due to her legend ability.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes a lot of sense, you know, as we get 1 body rune back from our channel for this turn, says that Snapvine is back on the, or it's not on the table yet because we didn't get the double body one, but if there's a world where we can get over this Darius, we could get the on-conquer effect from the Kiana again, and I think we've just got a trick here, and so we are going to play a Discipline from our hand, which is going to give us the +2 and draw us a card, and now that 1 energy that's up, you have to make a decision here, because if it's a card that targets the Kiana, it's not just any recycle cost that the card might have on its own, it's going to get a bonus because of the deflect, which could set back the Kaisa player in the same amount of runes that we just talked about was that advantage. And it looks like, because it's a Hextech Ray, we have to pay the... We're delaying it, I guess. Yeah, we were at 6 runes, but it's like, hey, for me to play this Hextech Ray, that's a crazy little device that guy has in his hand. Did you see
What is that? What is that?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Oh. Chat help? What is this? What has this guy got? Okay, we are.
Something's happening. I don't know. So we rewind the board state a little bit. So we're trying to play this Hextech Ray. We recycle 2 runes. It deals 3 to a thing, right? So
yeah.
Dealing 3 to this Kiana, which is at 4/5. We disciplined it for 6/7. It will take the 3. It will still just trade, but the Defy coming in, this is crazy, right? So your 1 recycle here on the Defy feels so good because you made the opponent recycle twice. 1 for the cost of the Hextech Ray, 1 for the deflect, and it still didn't work. And you get the Conquer, going up to 7 points for the turn. 1 hold wins this first game, and we have the on-conquer ability to draw another card where the Defy just replaces itself.
It's huge. Absolutely massive swing turn here. This feels like checkmate. It's gonna have to be something crazy. You know what I just realized? What's Kaisa's signature spell?
Icathian Rain.
If we were, let's pretend that we had the mana for it. We've got all 12. In order to deal with this Kaisa, we would have to recycle 3 and then target this thing 3 separate times, recycling 3 more to get rid of it. We'd have to recycle 6 with a Icathian Rain to get rid of this Kaisa. It just opening up my mind to, if you target it twice with the same thing, you deflect twice, totally changed everything I know about the game. Truthfully.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it works. I have the FAQ up. I know I said that as like a throwaway line, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works, is that if you want to choose a thing over and over again, you have to keep paying that cost. Yeah, so Falling Star, Icathian Rain, the do this wording that has been changed, are those reflexive triggers? Yes, that means if you have 2 that these spells no longer actually have any targets. Oh, wait, they don't actually target. Hold on. They play them if okay, hold on. But if you resolve them, then you put each instance of the reflexive triggers on the chain separately, choosing the same or different units as you like. You still must play deflect costs for each one as you put each trigger on the chain. So instead of paying the deflect costs on like paying the cost of the spell, you pay the deflect costs during the effect when you make the reflective choices. So it does work the way I said it. I read this correctly. But yeah, you're 100% correct. You have to recycle the 3 for the Acathian Rain, and then you'd have to recycle even more for each instance of the rain that you would put on Kiana.
It's just making me want to play Volibear more because that guy had like deflect 3 or whatever at the as his 12 drop.
True.
Like, yeah, it's like if you try to pop it, like toss it 2 back, sounds crazy.
Yeah, this game's getting very scary though. Only one battlefield in control though, as we are passing back to the Kaisa player, but they only have access to 6 of their runes. One of which was a Hextech Ray to kill a guy off, but here comes the Darius as the second card, tapping completely out. We've tapped out as
Try
the...
one more time.
It is enough, right? I mean, it's enough to
Yeah.
trade, which means you don't lose.
Yeah. But we have 2 units on the in Master Yi's base.
Yeah, for one conquer
is-
on each of them, it shows off, well, I just win anyway next turn. So
Win-
there's the fist bump in game 1,
win
going
for
to
the fist
Master
bump.
Yi. Ooh.
Makes total sense.
Man, how do we... Obviously, I already know the result of this regional because it was all over social media. How do we lose from this scenario?
Yeah, what could possibly happen here? Looks like we are looking. Oh, it shows our sideboard deck.
Love it.
We are taking out.
It's like
I'm
we
not
took
gonna
out
see it.
triple Snapvine and 1 White Flame Protector to bring in the Unyielding Spirits and then something else I didn't see. Yeah, taking out these
Snap
4
vines and this to put in
and a Wielder of Water.
another. Yeah, love it. I dig
Makes
it.
sense. Yeah, but yeah, the Unyielding Spirits you think typically make your deck feel a little stronger now in game 2. Obelisk of Power, by the way, which means we'll have the 4 runes to start off as Master Yi going second. If there's a Kiana in hand, we could see that very strong play. I think the reason why we won that first game from double Kiana. Do we have it? Nope. We don't got it.
Maybe as we sit here and look at our hand, I feel like a snap play would have happened if we if we did. 2 comes down as we have a shield Poro right for the picking. Second one, Pit Rookie targeting the Poro to get the buff. This is still singular falling star
Yeah.
targets if we find a Fury Rune, because currently our Kaisa
True.
does not have it. And
Double.
there it is. There's both. Okay. Not
Yeah,
that we even have it in hand.
I wanted to bring it up because I was like, wow, that's actually kind of a big deal, because if we actually didn't get lucky and like didn't get enough of the Fury runes, like the Falling Stars, Fury runes. The of course our character does pay for one, but like the Kaisa right here, Fury rune. So
Yeah.
it is very much like if you want to pay the accelerate cost, which we did, of course, and then we're going to take the Conquer, get the draw effect, and get the point. We needed at least 1 Fury rune to do so, but I mean, we're going to have to keep track of that because it could mean that we just don't have Fury runes for most of this game when it comes to keeping our things. But yeah, the cool battlefield effect coming in, if you conquered it this turn, at the end of your turn you get to ready 2 of your runes, so we also have a little bit to play with defensively.
Yeah, this is feeling better on Kaisa's side, but going second as the Master Yi, there is something to be said about the battle tricks that we have. The 2 runes ready and available on Kaisa's side. What battle tricks could you have to snipe down and reduce the might that I'm increasing to try and take over the battlefield and then stick with it? There is a question to be had as the Shield Poro goes in and takes over the Obelisk.
I think that's pretty big. That's the one you for sure want to put on the battlefield. It has the shield, has the buff on it as well. So again, it's this like 6 might unit now if you have to attack into it, which is very good for the Darius that you might see that could go to 7. I kind of like this. I think I saw this coming. It was the primal strength for another +7 might, which is going to buff up this Pit Rookie to swing into this Kaisa. But as you stare at 2 runes ready, because we of the Conquer effect that happened for that Kaisa, one trick here kind of keeps it alive, but we're going to let it go.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think with only the 4 runes over on Kaisa's side, any trick that we have that would be effective here. I guess we've got the Kaisa for the recycle. So maybe the thing that I was about to say just isn't true. It just telegraphs that we don't have it, which means it might be safe for us to start widening up our board at home, leaving these tricks away, and saying things like clockwork. It's more important now. Let's draw a couple more cards to dig a little deeper as we draw into a defy for a spell a little bit later. Great heads up play over on Master Yi's side.
I think we made a big mistake though. We completely tapped out, and I think especially what we know is in Yi's hand. We saw the unyielding spirit. We have just left ourselves completely vulnerable for a falling stars or anything of the sort because we don't have a card anymore that we can play that says spell and abilities don't deal damage. So even here, this Void Seeker is going to be enough damage to kill this Poro and redraws the card here. And it's great that we drew the defy.
2 answers.
Yeah, we were holding on to 2 answers for them, and we can't afford any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
Gets to us.
We had the Conquer effect. I'm suck. We did ready. We readied some runes. Now I understand why we did it.
Oh.
For the same reason why the Kaisa had 2 of them, we also got 2 of ours back. So that defy that we did draw into did work out. I forgot about the battlefield effect.
The one time we didn't talk about the battlefield, it freaking mattered.
Yeah, you're right. But the defy on the Void Seeker, I think, is pretty good value. That's a 3 rune or 3 energy spell that you already have to use the Kaisa effect on, and with only 3 ready runes left, I don't know what else could come in here except for just a little Watchful Sentry pass, which means double hold trigger here for and just like that, we're at 4-1, and this is the so important part, and we've talked about this in the past, of why holding points in this game is so much for your momentum and swing. Yes, we've lost quite a bit of our runes. Yes, we only have 5 of them accessible to this turn, but this hold turn is just about setting up more defense because you already have control of the battlefield. You don't have to spend any of your resources getting on the board. You're already on the board.
Yeah. From here, the Charm in hand could rip this Watchful Sentry up, and I feel like there's just like more high impact things that we could be doing. I think there's no reason to interact with this one, but we saw it come in at the very tail end of last game, but it absolutely did not matter. As we see, this is Sunlit Guardian. It is a shield and a tank unit, so +1 while defending, and while defending, he gets he forces all of the damage to be dealt to him first. I think this is fine, especially whenever you feel like you're supposed to double up on resources. This, I think, feels like a good reason to put a second body on it on a battlefield rather than using Master Yi.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's fair. I think that's what I was going to say. Is I think Sunlit Guardian is one of my favorite ones to play onto a battlefield I already have control over. Whether you decide to keep those units on the battlefield, which sometimes in a very close game, you just kind of like load up a bunch of things onto one battlefield and challenge your opponent to not stop or to stop you from holding, or you put it on the battlefield you control of to bring back your other guy that survived, which like you could do here, but we just played it at our base. Passing back though, Void Seeker coming through, that one's going to go through, and we just let it go when we know that we have an answer to it, but saying it's not the time just quite yet. The Shield Poro is not quite worth it.
I love that play. I think that the Shield Poro is cool, but we have a card that is technically just a better version of it here with this Sunlight Guardian, right?
Yeah.
Like it has shield. It starts at 3, and it has tank to have that extra ability. But Darius is going to come in, potentially clean up the second battlefield. We could see the score even up just a little bit more of 3 to 4, depending on how aggressive we want to be with not just the Darius, but also the Watchful Sentry.
Yeah, this one's much harder to deal with because this is real combat, which you would typically think that Yi is good with the combat, but the cards in our hand are not combat tricks. They are protection from spells and movement tricks. So the 7 might on that Darius is going to be well over enough to get through that Pit Rookie, who was only at 4. And I think even going back and taking that battlefield back over as the Kaisa player just doubles up on it is going to be significantly harder to get through now because we are just running out of resources in our hand.
Yeah, looking at the disparity of hand size here is probably going to be our Yi's downfall. We're just like not able to keep enough to make any sort of meaningful movement happen. With that said, though, although we did not hold, we can still score a point over on this obelisk.
I think it might be champion unit time. I'm not sure, though. It's pretty risky, again, because we're only at 7 runes. And that would say to tap out again. And when you have these answers in our hand, especially with we drawing the on guard for turn, all of our hand is tricks. It's just all tricks. So we have to use these tricks in an efficient way. Whereas if we just played the Yi and it gets removed the next turn, we've lost the trick. But a charm coming through, and this is the fun part that we talked about. I'm gonna charm this Darius and bring it over here to where my Sunlit Defender or Sunlit Guardian, sorry, is now defending, which means my Yi ability will go live, and it is down to 5. For your guy is down to 5, and I'm at 6 because of shield.
Yeah. So 3 base plus 1 from the shield plus 2 from Yi. That's how we're getting to our 6 here. And we see a smokescreen in Kaisa's hand. It looks like we're going to opt to play it, but we have an on guard or the defy that we don't have defy, excuse me. We spent the defy. We do have the on guard to increase it, but again, playing this out says that we go down to a singular card in hand. Is it worth it to keep this Sunlit Guardian alive?
It's not even enough, I think.
I say yes. Is it not?
3, 4, 5, 6. It's minus 4 from the smoke screen, plus 2 from the on guard, and we were only winning by 1. So the math doesn't math. By the way, I think that counts as a conquer.
Does it?
I don't know. I don't know the ruling.
They were the attacker.
They were the attacker, and it was on a battlefield they didn't control. I think that gave them a point. Which is crazy feels bad, by the way.
Yeah, hey, we figured out how we lost.
And they hold it to 4. We played a card and gave 2 points to our opponent.
Yeah. Just like that, the match very quickly is becoming significantly more even.
We have gone to 6. Which is good in the sense of we are in lethal range, and we still have access to our Master Yi champion unit, which could go a long way. Especially if we can defend our little Clockwork Keeper here.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have this, so Hextech Ray deals 3. Clockwork is now a 4. So, getting another resource out of our hand.
Stupefy.
But now we could play the Unyielding Spirit.
If we play the Unyielding Spirit, it does say that damage can't happen for the rest of the turn, and we let it go.
We let it go.
Oh, no.
I mean, that was a very much like a way to stay in this game, because you basically were challenging the Kaisa player that, like, hey, you don't have an Accelerate unit to now also combat me again on the same battlefield, which would put us to 7, and then we could play the Master Yi champion unit to try and take over. But as we are now backing up this battlefield even further, this double conquer for the win is going to be significantly more difficult. And like you said, we only have 1 card in our hand, and we're only drawing 1 per turn. I have to think too. Hold on. We go to 5. We'd go down to. We'd get 2 more. Yeah, you still have the runes to do it. Unyielding Spirit is still only recycle 1 for the power cost. So we would still be able to play in the Master Yi champion unit, but it looks like that's not the case. Going over the Legion, we've already played 2 cards, but Legion just matters if you've played 1. So it still works out. It still gets the cost reduction. Moves our Darius back. Now it's a little easier for the double conquer. Not really. I mean, we lost our unit on board. What am I saying? Another hopeful for 2. And then we're going to tap completely out here to get back on the board state. I think we're starting to see this match, or this game specifically, swing the other way as the 3rd hopeful hits the board. Multiple 4 might units.
Hope is gone now as 3 hopefuls touch.
Yeah, it just actually means, yeah, and like this is the downside of this deck when you're at so few cards in hand, is that your deck has such low-costed cards in them that are units that don't stick on the board very well until you're on battlefields, that we're just going to be drawing a bunch of weenies for the rest of this game. Maybe. Obviously, we could get a little lucky, but especially remember, Tam, we sided out triple Snapvine and a White Flame Protector. So, like, this is our biggest...
expected to get on battlefield and stay there.
And we just
And
didn't
that's
use
just
our
not the
resources to
story of
do
this one.
so. Like I
Yeah.
genuinely wonder what would have happened if we just pressed the unyielding spirit and we kept that little guy alive.
Yeah, the loathsome little clockwork keeper scoring a point. I mean, this would have been game, right? Like if the exact same play pattern had it, and if we retreat back to Darius and then whatnot. But like at the same time, you ready? So we would have kept the clockwork keeper. We would have gone up to our 7th point. I think these hopefuls would have just joined
Yeah, the
Darius
thousands
over
of
at the
warriors.
battlefield, and like not done. Master Yi would not be conquering this battlefield. But with the Thousand Tail Watcher, I think. Oh, interesting. We go there, score our point up to 5. Maybe just use the Darius to clean up the Master Yi.
I mean, if we
Maybe
play a
swing in
second
with all
card,
4 of them.
if we play a second card, the Darius will get an extra +2 plus the -3 that happened on the Yi. So we're already like negating Hextech Ray counts. That's our second card, and it will ping an extra 3 onto the Yi. I think it's
Killing the Yi.
we're just too. Wait, is it -3 goes to 4? It only does. It's only 3.
Well, he's not at 4. He's at 6. He's got 6 might. He's a 7 cost that gets 6. Goes up to 8. So you -3, then -3, and then deal 3.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, forcing out the unyielding spirit, and I just think it's already too late because you still are staring at 3 readied units on the other side of the board, one of which just went up to 7 on its own. I mean, Darius just takes it alone.
Yeah.
And it's not a trade. And you're tapped out. Yeah, the game I think has just ran away, because we held on to that what? It has -3 on it, which means
3,
it
4,
deals
5,
4.
pushing up to 7.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it has 3, goes up to 5 because of the Yi effect, but dealing 5 to a 7 might unit just doesn't even get it. So yeah, I mean, we held on to that unyielding spirit for so long that we just didn't even get to use it for when it actually mattered anymore. Which goes to Conquer for 6. We're getting some clarifications.
We're skipping ahead in the video until the judges stop talking to him. Resuming.
That's a crazy draw for turn for not having a unit. Yeah, I mean, we conquered to 6. We have a unit on each battlefield. We moved our hopefuls on each of them. We're like, yeah, man, I didn't draw it. Game 2, going to Kaisa in a very weird game.
Yeah. Weird game. I think we're just like playing a little sheepish, a little shy.
I don't even know if shy is the right word. I think we're just too afraid of using our answer. Like literally our answer, right? We were just so afraid that if we didn't, so afraid of using it now that we don't have it for later when there is no more later anymore. You have lost your units. We lost all the cards in our hand because we were like, oh, I need to use this for the next unit that matters more. I need to use this for the unit next that matters more. You sided out 4 units that are very important to protect because you valued these cards. You have to protect the ones that you have, not the ones that are coming. But yeah, game 2.
Yeah.
Now we go to game 3. The finals for all the marbles for the Misfortune promo. And, you know, the clout.
And the clout, which is more important than the promo for sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
How much is that promo selling for, you think?
I believe people were talking about it. I know it's listed for like thousands and thousands of dollars, but I don't think anyone has sold yet. Because as soon as one actually sells, that like price point that people have it at will start to feel more real. Right now, it's just kind of like a nebulous number, but I think it is listed currently for thousands, not in the tens of thousands, but I think it is in the thousands of dollars.
6, 7.
I was gonna say like 2 or 3 or 4. I also don't know the Chinese conversion rate, but
fair.
From what I've read, turn 1 play going to be the Zonia's Hourglass though here from Master Yi, which is very good for that deck. Again, we didn't see any Kianas that last game. I think, you know, we want to maybe, I don't know how well we mulliganed or what we were looking for, but the first unit on the board going to go to the Kaisa player instead, which is bad news if you're the defending deck.
Yeah, and 2 3 drops are saying that this 4 runes that we have available to us not going to be what matters as a sunlit guardian.
Yeah, it's a good one though. Like you said, I mean, this is like the upgraded Poro, and I think we have a pit rookie in our hand. Talk about the game earlier or games earlier when we had the Poro, the Shield Poro that we had the buff on. Now we could have this Sunlit Guardian with the buff on, but the falling sky or the falling star here is going to basically say nuh-uh-uh, and I think we're gonna get this weird thing that happens that I believe I've talked about a little bit before with this card. But if we let this go, I think what happens is it dies from the first star. It saves itself because the Zonia's Hourglass says it has to. The second shot of the star is allowed to hit the Guardian again. Which is crazy, right? Like, I think that's crazy if that's how it works. But a Defy says we don't even want to worry about the math, maybe? Is that what happened? Did we not play the Defy? No, we let it go.
I think we missed the trigger. I think we let him declare
make choices.
And by the time that you made the choices,
that means the spell has resolved. That is correct.
Yeah.
Because of what I said earlier, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and as we just saw it happen, that's exactly how it works. You Zonia's your dude back, and it immediately dies to the second shot, which means that this first mate is going to feel not useful at all. On play, do nothing. Just getting a unit on the board very quickly. It just feels like this match is slipping away.
Yeah. And from here, we're going to hold this point. We've got enough runes over on Kaisa's side to play out our champion accelerated from the champion zone to go grab that other battlefield, draw a bonus card. And again, the reason that we won last game was cards in hand, and Kaisa absolutely facilitates that game plan. Let's go conquer, grab the point, grab an extra card, and outvalue what the Master Yi deck has allowed us to do, especially with the resources we have on board.
And the Grove, right? The Grove of the Godwillow, using the Master Yi battlefield on the hold as well. We got a bonus card. It's just like it's running away so fast. Here comes the Kaisa. We play it, play the Accelerate, get the Conquer. Hey, look, another draw. And it's a Reaver's Row, which was the Kaisa's battlefield. So this Kaisa feels incredibly safe when you finally do attack into it. It's rough. I feel like this game's going to be over so... Hey, look, there's it is. There's the promo. I feel like even without the game actually being over, it feels so over. I just don't know what series of cards we'd have to play turn after turn after turn, starting off with this champion unit from the Master Yi, keeping
desperation play,
keeping one of our runes ready. Like, the Yi's good enough to get over the Kaisa. Kaisa still has one readied rune. You're running in on the other side 6 might. It's like
it's just
it has to go there.
It's gonna choose to retreat.
It doesn't die.
This is A-okay.
It's rough, man. Like, because you made that play, Kaisa's guaranteed to go to 4 points next turn because of the hold, and it's another hold for another draw.
Oh, love this though. Here is the charm. Let's bring. Oh, interesting.
The hopeful
over, so that we can run the first mate into the Ravenbloom.
That's true.
Love that.
It will work that way. That's nice. Yeah, so into the Ravenbloom, 1 up might, but we have 1 floating. The Stupefy will make it a trade instead, which, if you're Yi, I think that's about the best you can ask for. Or no, it's not a trade. We get the +1 might because we played a spell onto the Ravenbloom. That's what we talked about. You said Stupefy is not a good card. This is the scenario.
Broadcast. You got me, man. The start of the broadcast, this is what we talked about. Tam Ricardo's Stupefy hater. And in the finals match here, 4 points to 1, just absolutely proving me wrong.
It's not a 1 might swing when it's on a Ravenbloom. It's a 2 might swing and a redraw, which I was going to say was hopefully going to keep us to deter the hold. But that 1 cost spell says I get to hold the point. It redrew me a card, you lost your unit, and I get to draw a bonus card because of the hold effect on the battlefield of the Grove of the Godwillow. Oh, man, everything and then, here comes another Falling Star. Double ping for the 6, kills the Master Yi. The Reconquer coming in from the Kaisa. Another drawn card, going up to 6 or 5 points here. There's so many cards in that hand, Tam. And if there's
Yeah.
one thing that we already know, the Yi deck does just run out of resources. It's not a draw deck. It's not even typically like one card trades into one card. You sometimes have to use like two pieces to get one piece off of your opponent's board, but the whole point is that it has strong sticking power. And we don't have any units on our board, so we've lost the sticking power. And we already know that we're going to have to use multiple resources to start taking over these battlefields again. We are going to run out of cards, and the Kai'Sa player is still going to have like 4 in their hand getting back on the board.
Yeah, it feels like the way that we're supposed to utilize this card in hand and fix this card draw is to have our battlefield that we picked, which is the Grove
yeah.
of the God Willow. And I don't think we've drawn a single card off of it. I think
No.
Kai'Sa's drawn 3. So like
soon to be 4.
Soon to be 4. Like this is such an idea of I need to get you off of these battlefields so incredibly bad because we now have 8 cards in hand. There's so many cards to 3. It's just feeling over to the point where we have to move the Ravenblue student over to the other battlefield.
I like this play
just to get onto the battlefild.
But you're not going to get on the battlefield. We have so many ready
Nah.
resources, and a single Hextech Ray being played right here is deal 3. And we're about to tap 1 and either play this Defy or play this Unyielding Spirit, go to 1 card in our hand, and Tam, there's no way we're holding on to this battlefield. There's no way we're getting that card back into our hand from the hold effect. This is just for a point.
Yeah.
Choose the Defy.
Here, I think the Defy makes sense because I think you could layer it to where another Hextech could come over top, and you'd have to use it anyways. I guess either way works, but second Hextech, we're gonna opt to do it down to 0 cards in hand.
It's so over, Tam. This whole game, it's over. We used 2 cards to save our little pit rookie, and this pit rookie is just gonna get shot right off the bat. And I would say that even if we didn't channel a Fury Rune here, Kai'Sa gets to pay for a Fury. Like it's just like another Hextech Ray, a Darius into something. We only have 6 runes, so Watcher's not on the table, but like it could be a Void Seeker, it could be literally anything, and you used all your resources to keep your pit rookie alive for you to take a point. Recycling that Fury Rune. Darius coming down. If we play a second card here, which could just be like a Stupefy, Darius gets in and would take that battlefield, and your opponent would be... Oh, Cleave works just fine.
This is the biggest Darius of all time to go come in for
10.
this pit rookie.
This is the combo, by the way. Cleave, the axe that's on Cleave, is Darius's axe. So this is the combo, right? Yeah.
Makes sense.
The lore accurate combo here, killing this pit rookie off, giving us the conquer for the 7th point, passing the turn back, and challenging Master Yi. Hey, you've got to wipe everything. If not, I win the game. And I just think it's just over, Tam.
Opts to bring the Raven back, protecting it a little bit more because the Raven again can get large as the camera zooms in on 7 points. Is so funny. And it looks like the one card
That's a good one.
we drew, the best card in our deck to fight the onslaught of Kai'Sa, but a little bit too late as we take it and we're
at 1. We're at a sped up. We're at a sped up speed. Hold on, Tim.
He's sprinting.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's going so fast.
They do this great celebration thing, you know. By the way, for everybody, the winner here, I believe his name is Sparkle, is his username. So congratulations, Sparkle, the 2nd Kai'Sa in a row to win a regional. And I mean, that leaves the question now: is Kai'Sa too good, or did we just watch a series of misplays? Watch Master Yi's first chance at winning a regional slip away. I mean, we'll find out this weekend with our 3rd one. So...
I think it's... I don't necessarily know if it was misplays or not. We had all the tools, right? We had the tools ready and available for us to make it happen. We saw the Kiana's like put in so much work in that game 1, but we just didn't find them games 2 and 3. We weren't allowed to sit there and hold we just didn't find the answers.
I know we didn't find them, but like we did find the cards that you sideboard in that actually say that most of the spells in Kai'Sa's deck don't do anything. And we just kept
Yeah.
saying, nah, I'm good. I'll let this die. I'll let this die. I genuinely think there's just a world where if you presented a scenario where, hey, my unit's going to stay alive at any point, there was multiple points, right? You have to get more out of the Kaisa player, and I don't think at that exact moment Kaisa had the correct answer to deal with it again, which puts you
Sure.
to 7, and a hold just wins the game. And when when the Kaisa player put the Darius and could have put all the hopefuls on that same battlefield, being like, you're not going to take this one, you do the same thing back to them. Okay, Kaisa player, I'm the one at 7. You have to stop me from holding on to this battlefield. I'll put this Master Yi champion unit and the unit that I did keep alive here together. And all of your units are on the other battlefield. You can't move them back and move them over here in the same turn. You're stuck there. I genuinely think there was a world where they could have won that game too. But we held on to our thing too late. And you just never know. And then you're right. I mean, looks a little differently. Maybe even in that game 3, we played the correct card at the right time instead of waiting for the choices. We lost a Zonia's Hourglass, we lost a unit, and we just let it happen. We had an answer, we said no. And so, you never know. Kaisa's pretty good, though.
With that, thank you much for watching, you guys. I do greatly appreciate it. It was fun casting these I think, what, 5 rounds that we watched here.
Yeah.
Today it was fun. I think it's 4 rounds, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a blast.
4. Yes.
Again, if you enjoy the commentary, make sure that you do all the cool YouTube stuff, like, share, comment, subscribe, as well as check out Riftbound Ramblings. You can find them for my VOD vlogs in the description down below of this video. But with that, that's gonna do it for me. I've been sitting here. I've had dinner in front of me for the past 3 games. It is, I'm sure, very cold. But with that, Barrett, final words, buddy.
I love this game. I think this game's great. I think, especially what we saw today, which is we did the Swiss rounds last time for the first regional. This time we did this top cut, and I think that's what we'll kind of stick with if we continue to do this anytime. The high-level gameplay of this game is very intense. Like, the decision-making that you have, the choices you make in your deck-building process, like the Victor deck that we saw, the adaptations we've seen from the Kaisa decks, and also even the Master Yi decks, I think all of it matters at the highest level of competitive play, even in the mirror matches. I actually, like, wasn't, like, getting bored, I guess, is the way to describe it. And I just think that's, yes, it's a set 1 game. So the fact that I'm not bored watching mirror matches in set 1 means that there's only room for it to get better, and that's what I'm excited for. So I can't wait for Riftbound, which comes out October 31st here in North America or English-speaking countries. And yeah, we'll keep making some content along the way. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye! I've officially ended my stream.
I will end mine then. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
This is a YouTube video.